Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final round of the Mazda MX5 Championship Series. Here from the beautiful Laguna Seca in California, my name is Lateral G, and I'm joined by...
My Savoy, how are you today, Lateral?
I'm doing quite good myself, and we're in for a big one here today. 2 hours around Laguna Seca.
Yeah, this is the newest track that was updated on GT Sport, so we thought, why not? Let's stick a 2 hour endurance race on there.
Well, it should definitely be interesting, and the note the points here and the amount of drivers that we have attending for today's race. We have a total of 12 drivers for today's race, and with how the points are working out, Chili's got the championship essentially locked in. He's 45. He's 45 points over Alex Rogers, and if you do the math, if he finishes 12th, it essentially ends on a tie. And Chile has more wins than Alex Rogers, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. Yeah. So Chile doesn't really need to push or go for a win because he's got the title sewn up. We weren't too sure if it was double points for that, but Chile confirmed it wasn't double points.
So it should be an interesting race. So the championship is locked in, although the rest of the field definitely isn't. For example, Alex Rogers in second place, 147 points. Nugatti behind him, only 17 points with 130. And then behind that, Nugatti, we have Tavenstall in fourth, 125 points. So second place, third, fourth, they're all up in the air for this race. So it's not like the championship can't change things, change around a bit, but the champion, Chile, has already clinched the title. So
yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say we're just gonna wait for qualifying to get underway here. Stuck check was underway. We're all good. It's all good to go. One thing to note for qualifying is I do believe that Law 226, Arc Matty, and let me make sure I get the other name here. Let's see if I can scroll up in the chat.
I'm trying to figure out who it was as well, but yeah, it was someone else, wasn't it? It was. I can check it for you. Hold on a second.
It would be Jans, yes. All three of those drivers will not be qualifying due to the rules. They will be starting at the back of the race. I believe they missed too many races in the championship, and therefore they will have to start the back for this race. So they won't be qualifying, but we will have 12 cars starting the race.
But even bigger news, and I'm going to get up off my chair and give him a standing ovation, that Beckham has made a final round. Well done, Beckham. Well played, sir. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. Tears running down my eyes seeing that game of tagging. You love to see it, people. You really do.
That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. Beckham has finally, for once in his career, made the final round of a championship. So we'll finally get to see him on track. So hopefully
you don't need to rub your eyes. He's definitely there.
So it should be a pretty good race. We got 1 minute till qualifying starts. And from what I've seen and looking at the chat and Discord and such, it seems like a lot of drivers, Beckham being one of them, haven't had any practice on this track going into this race.
No, I think Taven as well. He's another one of those guys that really hasn't practiced, and I think this is only his one and only chance of doing some practicing. But it's a 2 hour race, It's a very long race. It's normally 60 minutes, but obviously this is the last round. It's double, so he'll have time to figure out this track. I mean, it is very technical, very tricky. Obviously the corkscrew is one of the most what's the word I was looking for? I've completely forgot now. Oh, my mind's gone dead. It's like it's killed me. I've just lost momentum. Sorry, Lateral, carry on. Oh, it's gonna annoy me now. It really has.
But
I'm just caught up in the emotion of Beckham being here. It's just amazing.
But the corkscrew on this track is notorious. It's infamous, really, just how difficult it is, and it's definitely going to be interesting, especially when it comes to the tire wear. And you were telling me before we get underway here that you're thinking it's going to be a 2-stop race.
Well, yeah, I mean, considering that with these drivers only doing one stop in a 1 hour 8 race, I think it would be quite predictable if they do 2 stops, because obviously it's a 2 hour race.
That's quick maths, ladies and gentlemen.
That is good maths, actually. Hope you're proud of that. I don't know if a lot of the drivers will be heavily fuel saving, or well, there'll be at least fuel saving in this to go 2 stops. Maybe some drivers will go all balls out and they'd like to go 3 stops. We don't know yet. We never got any info on what would be the perfect strategy. But my prediction, my guess is we could do at least 2 pit stops.
And as we mentioned earlier, this is a newer track out of the game, so if any track is going to have a fairly even playing field, it's going to be this track. Not like it was added just, I want to say, a month ago. So even
a month ago, yeah.
So even the faster drivers on the track, they're not going to be too much ahead of the drivers who don't have any practice. And from what I've seen and people racing GT3 cars around here and the such, it's going to be pretty interesting, especially at the start of the race, as we're going to get qualifying just now started and underway here, as we're going to cut to the race feed as soon as everyone enters and gets out on track here. Oh, a couple of people seem to have a small pit bug there. Might have fixed it there.
Hopefully.
There's actually a very long pit exit here, another thing to note, as you're seeing here just on board Charles as he exits the pit lane. Instead of just
narrow, isn't it?
It is quite narrow, but it's also a very long pit exit, so you lose a lot of time taking that pit stop. And there is one thing I do want to note about one DM Chucky TT we happen to be spectating on stream right now, and that is one thing he told me is actually the stripe on the side of the car, if we can get a good picture of it here. That stripe isn't just any old stripe. That's actually the flag of Trinidad and Tobago, as he hails from he's Trinidadian. He hails from the islands of Trinidad and Tobago.
What was that? Okay, I didn't notice that. No. Wow. So you learn something every day.
We have a Trinidadian here racing with us in ARC. So there you have it. We have the Stig making around here as well. Haven't seen too much of him on the stream. Ooh, as he almost loses the rear end of it there.
With a new livery too, you see there, custody chocolate. I tell you what, for all you NASCAR fans, if he had that red colour there, if you would change it to like a chrome silver, it would look like Sterling Marlin's car from the Coors Light. Do you remember that one there, Lateral?
I think I do. It does kind of look very Coors Light-ish if you were to change the red to silver. It does.
Yeah.
So we have Bugatti joining us. The main's currently 3rd in the championship. Seems to be finishing 3rd in almost every race he races.
But last week he finished 5th because he caused an incident with Charles, and he got a 10-second penalty, so he finished in 5th place. So he spoiled his run of 3rd place. I call him Mr. 3rd place. I think we should call him tonight. But he's still got 2nd place up for offers though.
And he does. And here we have the main's currently 4th in the championship. Taven Stahl, a newcomer to ARC, as we mentioned, for the championship. He's actually done quite well for himself.
He has, and I think his grandpa or whatever would be very proud of him. He told me in a message to give a shout out to him, so I better do it again. So yeah, Taven Stahl, first time in this championship, and I think he's earned respect of the races in this league, that he can race hard and race clean too. So yeah, happy to see Taven a part of the ERC.
Do you think, should Season 4 come around, do you think he'll make it into that Tier A lobby? Or do you think he's more of a Tier B material?
Oh, I mean, we have seen him do a few mistakes here and there, haven't we? I think if he gets into Tier A, he'll definitely earn it, obviously. It'll be a fine line between possibly A or B, I think, for Taven.
We just have Justin Kratz in the chat chanting for Taven Stahl, but calling him Table Saw.
Table sauce, boy, yeah.
Techno guy in 5th place, the Irishman.
That'd be Thomas by any chance?
Justin Kratz. I do not know who happens to be. I just happen to have the real name. And I wanted to highlight the man of the hour. There he is, Beckham.
There he is! Oh my god! Oh, get my tissue. Jeez, this is amazing.
They're completing their very first qualifying laps here. We're going to get the lobby leaderboard for currently. It looks like Charles TT on provisional pole, almost over half a second over Nugatti, who's only 10th over Chile currently, who's in 3rd. Tavenstall 3/10 behind him. Alex Rogers 2/10 behind Tavenstall, 1.4 from Charles TT. So even from 1st to 5th, Charles coming out with a bang on this one.
Yeah, Charles has been really solid during practice. He's been, you know, on it since the World Tour, since the start of practice. He was the fastest of all, so, you know, Charles, no surprise to see him up there. We have seen Charles do very well in practice, but when it comes to like race pace, he's not up there. He's always like behind off a podium finish. So I wonder if this could be the day that Charles will get his first win.
It's very possible. The man with the American flag beside his name, although he hails, as we mentioned, from the Trinidad and Tobago Islands, racing on a track here in America. So maybe perhaps you can kind of see it as racing on his home turf in a sense. Maybe wants to win on his home country. So that might be why he's pushing a little bit harder here today. As actually, I'm going to try and... You go ahead.
We forgot we should do the guided lap around here.
That's what I was just about to mention here.
Since you did a grand job last week, you should do it again.
Speaking of doing it again, let's go on board with Charles, our current provisional pole sitter, as he crosses the start-finish line, and now down the hill to turn 1, braking just at the three board there. Turns it in, car sliding just a little bit, nice double apex here through the Andretti hairpin. Carries the speed out wide, get on the throttle. Very nicely done, braking just between the 1 and the 2 boards there, down for turn 3. Now under the Cooper Tires bridge. Up in the 4th gear, just about. Pitches it in, almost flat through there, but he goes very wide the exit. But he was purple, so he might not lose too much time. Now under the Mother's Polish bridge. Braking at the 2-meter board after turn 5. This can be a very tricky corner as it narrows on the exit. As we just see there, just kicking up a little bit of the dirt. Once they can get under another bridge up for turn 6. Now this one's caught a lot of drivers out. There's a bit of a sausage curb on the inside. Gotta be careful not to clip that. 150 kilometers here going up the hill, heading up towards the corkscrew. This is turn 7 here. Braking hard now for the corkscrew, which is turn 8. Make sure you get the car turned very nice and tidy through there. Very, very stable, so props to Charles for that one. Now we have turn 9 right here. A little bit of a lift and turn in, back on the throttle. Now we have turn 10. This one's fairly simple. Now we have one more corner to go, and that's the last corner, turn 11 here around the lap of Laguna Seca. Braking at the 2-meter boards, a very sharp corner. Back on the throttle at apex, now up to 3rd gear. The start-finish line is just ahead of him. Let's see what this lap will end up being and see if he can improve. Not quite.
Not quite, though. But consistent lap times, though, for Charles. You see that on the middle left of the screen. Nugatti's gone up to 2nd now. He's just gone faster. 136.7 dead.
Beckham goes 2nd.
Beckham only nearly half a tenth off there. So, yeah, Beckham.
The man without any practice goes 2nd place provisionally. We get 3 minutes left in qualifying now. Let's have a quick run through the grid. As we mentioned, Mr. Chucky TT in pole position. Beckham now in 2nd as he goes very wide there through turn 4. So that's going to be a bad lap for him here. Actually manages to clip one of the braking boards, trying to get out of the way of a lot of drivers trying to working on their fast laps here. So good awareness from Beckham there, getting out of the way. We have Nugatti currently 3rd, Alex Rogers in 4th, Tavenstall in 5th, Chile in 6th. So not a strong qualifying performance from him so far. We have the Stig in 7th, making his way by Beckham there, Robocopy in 8th, Techno Guy in 9th, and then Jans, he's on track, but he cannot qualify in 10th. And as we mentioned, both Maddie and I'm forgetting the other driver. Law. There, thank you. It was Law who can't qualify, but they will be starting the race in the back of the grid.
No, so Law has got a new livery too. We'll see that during the race.
That we will. So let's see if Beckham can actually improve this time on this lap. It's going to be pretty close. No, it will not actually.
Oh, no, because he went off at turn 3.
That was Beckham. Or is it?
Oh, Beckham, sorry.
But it looks like Stig.
I thought you were saying, all right, we'll go on board with Beckham. Oi, here we go. Get the rear end cruise. There's 2 minutes to go, and there's not a lot of people that are coming to the pit lane and change tyres. By the looks of it.
Yeah,
think there was one.
I don't think they have time to make that pit stop and start another lap at this point. So they're on these tires to the end, so I don't expect too many changes in the leaderboard.
No, I know a few of them did. I think Stig was one of them. I can't remember if it was someone else. I don't know if it was. Oh, Jans. Oh, Jans has stayed in. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it was just Stiggy that came into the pits to change tyres. Anyway, we've got a minute to go, anyways.
Yeah, we do. So everyone's pretty much on their flying lap. It looks like Stig might actually improve, but will it be enough to catch up to Tavestall? He's almost a second up the road from him on the leaderboard. That's going to be pretty close. Looking at Charles TT here, he might actually be able to start another lap. He's actually purple, so he could improve his lap time here, but he picks up a 1 second penalty in the corkscrew. That's going to cost him this lap.
And that's a place where you don't burn a penalty, do you, too?
That is correct. Speaking of our penalty burn zones, that's one thing I did miss, the guided lap. There is a penalty burn right after the final corner that we see Charles going through right now. So this right here is one of the penalty burn zones. And there is another one between turn 4 and turn 5 on that right-hand kink. So Charles will get another lap in, as will Bugatti. However, let's see if we can find him. He will not. Taven will not be able to start another lap. So there's only 2 more drivers on a flying lap here. Let's see what everyone else can do. Alex will improve up to 3rd, but Charles Chile will go pole.
Look at the gap though, 32 thousandths of 1 second. I was just about to say Bugatti went to 2nd, but now not for long. It's Chile just
and Charles goes wide of the exit of 4. He would have seen that halfway through turn 3. Would have seen that Chile would have beat him on the leaderboard. So he tried to pick up the pace just a little bit, but he goes wide through 4. So I don't think he's going to be able to necessarily improve this lap, but Bugatti just might. He's in the draft of Charles in front of him. So it's quite possible he could improve.
Going up through the Rahal straightaway, flashes his lights to say to Charles, we're out the way. Could be on a fly. We're approaching the second sector down into the corkscrew.
Very stable
getting
there.
the dirty air to Charles. Let's see what time
purple.
it is. And he's faster. He's purple, 44 thousandths. This is going to be very close. Charles better get out of the way because Bugatti could steal the break Chile's heart for pole positions.
He's going for it.
The last turn.
He's going to try and use the draft. He's going to use the draft across the start-finish line. Charles is over the road. He will not be able to improve, but Bugatti just might. He's in the slipstream up to the line. He will!
Yes! 136.293. Bugatti takes the pole. Chile down to 2nd, and Charles, who's been fastest all the way through practice, he will start 3rd.
So there is your qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Bugatti with the last lap able to cross the line before the timer ran out will go pole position with a 136.2. Chile will go 2nd, or champion for the MX5 season, with a 136.4. We have DM Chucky TT, that's a nice little name we like to call him there, in 3rd with a 136.4. Beckham in 4th. So great job from a driver without any practice on this track. Just shows you the pace that some of these guys have just out of the box with a 136.6. Alex Rogers in 5th with a 136.6. Tavenstall in 6th with 37 flat. Robocopy in 7th with a 37.9. ERA the Stig in 8th with a 138 flat, and Techno Guy in 9th with a 38.1. And then we have Jans, Maddie, and Law, who were not able to qualify, but they will start the race.
And just to notice in that too, the top 5 separated by just over 0.3 of a second.
This should be a pretty good race, especially over the course of 2 hours.
It should, yeah. Okay, I think this will be fun for the first time that we're racing here. I think this could be this could be quite an enthralling race.
It very well could be, and this is a very small track too. And we saw towards the bottom of the grid there the difference in lap time, almost 2 seconds. So lap traffic could end up becoming an issue in this race.
Possibly. Hopefully, the drivers are about to be lapped out the way. But I'm just amazed by how close the qualifying was between Bugatti from pole to Rogers in 5th. Was just like 32 hundredths of a second. I think that's unbelievably close that is. I think it should. I think this should be a good race. Like, can't wait for this.
Should be a very good race, but congratulations to Chile on clinching the championship, and congratulations to Nugatti for qualifying on pole position.
I think that's his first pole, isn't it?
It might be, not counting that he might have had one in team versus team events. I'm not quite sure.
I was just thinking of the Mazdas in general.
In the Mazdas, yeah. In the Mazdas, yes. But Nugatti, I have to give props to Nugatti. Ever since what we saw in Season 3 of our GT3 or GR3 Championship Series, a man who won the Tier B Championship in that last round, stepped up his game to finish in the top 5 of Tier A. Ever since the end of that championship, he's been battling out with guys who were at the top of that Tier A. Battling out with Chile, Alex Rogers, Dans. He's become, in just a span of a few months, one of the fastest drivers in ARC.
Oh yeah, he's definitely one to be threatened with. You talk about how he did, like how he won the championship in the Spa race, but when we did the 3-hour race at Spa, he was a massive threat to Dan's late in the race. You saw him in the practice race for the team versus team. He won that race by over 50 seconds. He dominated the team versus team championship when the ERA boys tripped each other up. This guy who's only 16, 17 years old. He is going to be an absolute force to be wary of, and possibly a dark horse to win the season 4 GR3 championship. I think he's definitely Tier A capability now, definitely.
100%, I have to agree with you. So it should be actually super interesting to see what happens when that season 4 starts to roll around. As we're actually going to get started in the race roughly within 7 minutes from now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break ourselves. We got 2 hours of cast. We're going to take a bit of a drink, maybe grab a snack or two. And we'll be right back for you with this 2-hour final round of the MX5 Championship. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back now for the final round of the Mazda MX5 Championship Series. It's going to be Nugatti on pole position, followed by Art Chili, Charles in third, Beckham in fourth, Alex in fifth, Haven sixth, Robocopy seventh, Stig 8th, Techno 9th, Jans 10th, Law 11th, and Maddie rounding out the back of the grid. We're here for 2 hours around Laguna Seca. Let's see what we can do. Is 3 lights, 4 lights are now on, and we're going to be underway. Let's see what kind of start Nugatti can get here. He seems to get away pretty good, but he's going to have the outside. He's going to try and cover it off from Chili. He's going to look to go up the inside. See what he can do. Beckham tries to look up, maybe go for a dive bomb into turn 1. It looks like, I was going to say Stig tried to go around all the way around the outside of turn 1, but Nugatti will hold on to it. And Charles will actually drop back to 4th and 5th place here. Excuse me as I get my buttons right here. But Alex Rogers fighting for that 6th place. Ooh, one of the drivers clipped the big sausage curb and got airborne there. It looked to be one of the drivers towards the back as there's a lot of shuffling for position. Stig will clip that sausage curb, goes wide on the exit. That's going to cost him here. Alex Rogers might gain a position, but he has to worry about Tavenstall and Techno Guy trying to find a way by him. So this start, he's gone backwards on the start, has Alex Rogers. As you see a Techno Guy going up the inside of Tavenstall. Tavenstall has also gone backwards on the start, and Techno Guy's looking to gain a lot of positions here. Trying to Alex Rogers gone!
Held on to it though.
He did hold on to it, but he's all the way back now, down to last place. A huge mistake from Alex Rogers. And that,
I don't know if he got tapped. Did he get tapped from behind? He must have run wide through turn 6.
He did. He just ran wide with on the AstroTurf, and the car slid out, and the Stig almost did the same in front of him if you catch it there. Like we mentioned in that track lap, a lot of drivers were making mistakes in that turn 6, going wide and spinning the car out. Alex Rogers now back down to 12th, and this isn't going to work for his strategy as he started the race on the medium tire.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention the people that have started on the medium tyres. There was about 5 of them in all, but that's not good for Alex considering he's fighting for 2nd place in the championship.
Definitely true, as it seems the front 3 has started to break away from Charles, who's in 4th place there, and there's a bit of a gap back down to 5th place with Stig, and then Techno Guy and Tavenstall battling it out for 7th, but they're side by side as Law and Robocopy. A bit of a penalty there for Robocopy, but whether or not that's from contact, let's see if we can find out.
I think that was contact. I'm actually been on board with a lap. Oh my god, everyone's going wide through turn 3. But I think it was just a little bit of contact with the Techno Guy, I believe it was.
So then he should not have to serve as well as
Tavenstall also picked up a penalty.
Yeah,
that was something contact too.
That was because of contact. Again, we do not serve the contact penalties in ARC. We serve our own penalties post-race, so they will not have to worry about contact penalties, but they'll have to serve their own quarter cut penalties. So they will not have to serve these, just quarter cut penalties. As Maddie actually gets on the side of Jans. Maddie, that was a bit of a daring move there from Maddie. You can see a replay on that here as they went through turn 6. So he's going up the inside of Jans here. They're side by side. I think Jans just turned in on him. I think that was on Jans. Maddie was there for a while.
I think turn 6 is probably a corner not to overtake. It's a very tricky corner. As you said, loads of people will catch out on that corner. So I would suggest that not being an overtaking position. But yeah, difficult start all around there. And hugely disaster for Alex. He's up to 11th though, all over the back of Matt. You're looking at Robocopy and Law, and then there's Taven, and then you can see there's Alex trying to recover from his first lap incident on the Rahal Straight.
He's in the slipstream of Maddie, going to try and find a way by going down into turn 1 over the crest of the hill. Is he going to try and dive bomb it? No, he's not. He's going to try and pick his opportunity better, but he goes wide. He misses the apex. He's not used to the braking zone on these medium tires.
Yeah, just to mention here, the drivers that have opted for the medium tyres are Alex, Matty, Law, Taven, and Chucky. He's pushing, isn't he? He's definitely pushing. He's losing a lot of time. He's already 11 seconds behind of Nugatti.
Now here Jan's looking up the inside of him, going up to turn 5, so he might lose another position here. He's going to try and fight it. It's a hard one to fight, and he drops back to 12. That's not a sight you normally see on ARC. Alex Rogers in last place.
This is like Sedegna all over again when Alex was trying to recover up. Oh, he's going wide. Looks like he ran wide through turn 6. He's pushing it.
He's definitely pushing it, but back at the front, it's a 3-car battle. Nugatti, Chili, Beckham. Charles in a lonely 4th, but he's got the Stig trying to close the gap behind him. And there's a 2.5-second gap to Techno Guy in 6th, Robocopy in 7th, Law in 8th, Taven in 9th, Maddie 10th, Jans 11th. And Alex Rogers in 12th. Right now, the closest battle is for the lead between these 3 cars.
Tell you what, Techno Guy looks on it already. 5 minutes of by, he's up to 6th place. That's good going from Techno.
That is very good going for Techno, but as we mentioned, a lot of drivers in front of him did start the race on the medium tire, and he's on the soft tire. But still a good showing from Techno Guy regardless, but Stig does seem to be continuously pulling away, but he also doesn't seem to be gaining any time to Robocopy behind. But regardless, it would be a solid finish for Techno Guy if he were to hold on to this spot. This is the battle we want to...
Go on,
I just want to say this is the battle we want to keep the eye on here because it's the battle for the lead and it's a 3-car battle. But Nugatti's leading Chili in 2nd and Beckham in 3rd. But we also know how Chili likes to drive. He's comfortable sitting in the slipstream and saving fuel. And Beckham, I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing the same.
Yeah, this is like roles reversed from what we've seen from before. We always see Nugatti in 3rd place saving fuel. This time he's leading as Beckham has a huge moment going into turn 6.
He had a huge moment, but it worked out. It worked out beautifully for him. He pitched the car in and used the slide, and look at him. He's just rocketed by Chili.
I think Chili must have made a mistake on turn 6, so he ran wide. I don't know if you get a replay on that, but it looked like to me Chili had a moment as well in turn 6. Not as good as what Beckham did.
Just missed it just by a little bit, but used the pass. I think he just clipped the inside curb, or he didn't take the curb sharp enough, and he went wide. But, I mean, I have to give props to Beckham there. He took that corner beautifully, pitched the car in, and used the lack of grip, essentially, to get back on the throttle and power slide it through the corner. Very initial D, but it worked out beautifully.
I mean, this won't be a cause for concern for Chile, because, you know, there's 7 minutes past, there's another 1 hour and 53 minutes. He won't be concerned. He's champion-elect anyways.
It does seem like Stig, I want to say it looked like he might have been closing. Actually, he managed to get by Charles, so we missed that pass. But Stig seems to be on a mission here. He qualified 9th, 7th, somewhere around there, and he's up into 4th. It actually seems to be closing on the cars in front of him.
Yeah, he definitely is, and as you can see there, he's actually set the fastest lap in the race, a 1:37.733, and that was the lap that he did. So, yeah, Stig looks like he's on a hurry. I hope we get to see more of the Stig in this race, because we've seen him do very well. Like, he'd have great starts, but then he'd just fall towards the end of the race. We've seen that a few times, especially the GR3 races, but hopefully we'll see Stiggy a lot more in this race, and hopefully fighting for a podium finish as he clips the curb at turn 6.
It seems to be the strategy here. You want to clip that softest curb, it gets the rear end into a little bit of a slide, but then you control the slide with the throttle. A lot of drivers like to say that it's not the oversteer that scares you, it's the understeer. Stig makes his way down through the corkscrew, but gets on the outside curb there. I don't think that's the best thing you want to do. You go a little bit wide on the entry and you miss the apex, and you lose a lot of time there, almost 3/10 to the back of Chile, and he was 1.8, that's now 2 seconds.
I've just noticed that Robocopy has passed up the guys, so Robo up to 6th place. That's also good for Robocopy.
That is, he did manage to work his way by Techno, but he actually seems to be falling into the clutches of Law 226, but it looks like Law was serving a shortcut penalty, so he's going to be serving that.
Go and have a check on the replay, see why we did that. No, I just came up with the penalty, so I missed that.
Back at the front,
so,
Nugatti still leading ahead of Beckham, ahead of Chili, ahead of Stig, ahead of Chucky TT, ahead of Robocopy, Techno Guy, Law, Jans, Taven, who's actually fallen all the way back to 10th place. So a mistake from Taven somewhere is causing him to lose a lot of ground here. Now Alex Rogers at 11th is looking to take his 10th place from him.
I was just about to see here, as he always taking on a little wide through, is that turn 4? I think that is. I'm just wondering, here comes Alex looking to the inside, go to turn 5, not going to get there yet. Do you think starting the race on medium tyres is a bad idea?
In the case of Alex Rogers, I would have to say yes. just some of these drivers, it's a hard call. It's a 2-hour race. That's double length what we normally run. So I get the idea of trying to make the tires last this entire first hour and then jump to the softs and make them go the entire second hour and just pit on fuel, save the tires, makes a shorter stop. But the amount of time you lose on the start of the race and being passed by some of these cars, like we can see Tavenstall, he's already 16.8 seconds to Nugatti. That's basically a free pit stop with tires for Nugatti. So I would have to agree that, yeah, medium tires are not the way to go at the start of the race.
Because I've seen from previous races, I noticed the techno guy also likes to start the race on mediums, but it didn't work out for him. This one, it's definitely working because he's on the soft tyres, but it just seems to me that starting the race on medium tyres is just, it's not the way to go, I think.
I definitely agree with you here as Taven keeps losing more and more time to the leaders. Now it's 17.3, and that was just after a single corner as he looks to Alex Rogers to go up the inside, but the bit of ghosting might help him here. As Haven has to slow down just a little bit to make sure he stays on track, but he will still manage to hold position, but Alex Rogers isn't going to want to sit behind him for too long.
Alex needs to get by Taven in a hurry and then hopefully close up to Jans up in front in 9th place. He missed out on qualifying. I'll tell you what, good effort from Lord and Jans to not make qualifying and be 8th and 9th.
Definitely is, but as we mentioned earlier, there goes Tavenstall.
And there goes Alex. There goes Alex, just passes Taven by. Taven lets Alex by. So now he's got nearly 5 seconds to catch up to Jans, who's battling with Law just ahead of him.
That he is, but I don't think Taven's going to let Alex Rogers pull away from him. He's going to try and use the slipstream of the faster car, one would say, in front of him to try and catch up to Law and gain more positions. This is classic old school go-karting strats. Let the faster car go by, get in the slipstream, let him pull you along and close up to the cars in front. Back at the front of the field, though, it's still a 3-car battle for the lead. Nugatti, Beckham, and Chile. Stig up in 4th. He's actually lost a bit of time there. Actually, we see Robocopy closing right up to the back of Charles TT here.
Yeah, Stig's had not a good couple of laps there. From laps 3 to 5, he was in the 37s. Then lap 6, he did a 39.1. And then his last lap was a 38.7. So you can see the gap now. The gap between Chile to Stig is over 4 seconds. But Robocopy is looking hungry for that 5th place. But don't forget, Charles is on medium tyres.
This should fall into Robocopy's hands. He's going to try and gain as many positions as he can in this first hour of the race. Whether or not he'll be able to take Stig's spot, that's we'll have yet to see, but he definitely looks ready to take Chucky's spot. As they head up now to...
I think I may have made a mistake with the pits, because I forgot to mention about fuel. And looking at the driver's fuel, they're about 60% left of fuel in all of their tanks, so I'd say definitely more than 2 stops, but I think they'd still keep the same tyres, but they'll just need to add a bit more fuel.
I would have to agree with you there. 1.2 seconds the gap now between Robocopy and Charles as they head down through the iconic corkscrew. But actually seems to be a battle for second place now between Beckham and Chile as Beckham has fallen off the back of Nugatti here. He goes very wide of the exit there. That might set Chile up for a good pass in the last corner, but thinks better of it. Doesn't go for it. He's still trying to save a bit of fuel behind Beckham here.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Alex is on a mission by the looks of it. Because the last time I saw the gap between Alex to Law now was about 4 seconds. It's now less than 2 seconds. So Alex is on a mission. He's already got up to Law very quickly.
Well, that he has, and Taven is still with him. He's using the slipstream of Alex to not only save fuel, but pull him along to catch up to Law, and maybe they can both find a way by. Look how much time they just gained in that braking zone. Alex just struggling a little bit with those medium tires, though, but still seems to be working out for them.
It's still impressive to see. It's still impressive to see Alex still catching these guys in front, even though he's on medium tires and Law's on Law's.
Techno guy makes a bit of a mistake there. The exit of turn 4 goes wide, and Chance will go right on by.
Techno guy's starting to struggle there. You said in the chat there to punt everyone off. It looks like it's not working for Techno guy now. He's making a few mistakes here and there.
He's basically punted himself off there in turn 4. as he falls back down to that 8th place, and that's going to actually fall into the clutches. I was actually, no, Law's still behind him. Excuse me, I was thinking Alex Rogers was behind Techno Guy. I forgot Law was there, so excuse me there. Looks like James got a little unsettled there through the corkscrew, and now it looks like Techno Guy's going to try and have a go back at him.
Through turn 9, Brady curve. But no, Jansen's hold on to that. You can see the background too, but Alex and Taven closing up on Law.
Turn 11 here at Laguna Seca. Back up to the start-finish line, using all of the run-up they can to try and carry as much speed as they can into turn 1. But looks like he's not going to get it this lap. Looking back on it, well, there's a livery we were talking about, the Baileys and Guinness livery.
Yeah. I still like the green on it though. I like the green.
Classic British racing green for a British driver. Rogers and Taven still closing 1.6 seconds now the gap, but back at the front, Bugatti has opened up a 2.1 second lead over Beckham and Chile, who are still scrapping it out for that 2nd place.
I don't know. I think Chile wants to get over it. I think he wants to get by Beckham because he will see that gap increase into the gap. He doesn't want to make it too big of a gap because I noticed Chile was the fastest of all in Sector 1. So I think Chile is looking a bit desperate to try and get by Beckham to catch up to the Gatti.
Actually, it looks like Beckham built a bit of a gap there before they went to the corkscrew, but Chile seemed to reel it in a little bit there.
Yeah.
A tiny bit of breathing room for Beckham, which will be nice, and Chile actually won't like that at all, especially when he needs to be in that slipstream for his fuel strategy to work. I wouldn't be surprised if he bet on his entire strategy working while being in the slipstream with Stig. We just see getting a little stuck loose there. Turn 9. 2.8 seconds.
Oh, Techno Guy's down to 11. Techno Guy's done a mistake somewhere. I just noticed. Oh, he went off at turn 6, going on the rail straightaway. Seems. You just see that he's on board at 11, but I just caught a glimpse of a replay that he had a moment on the Rahal straight, and that is quite far back too, looking at the replay now.
So that's going to be falling in the favor of Alex Rogers and Techno Guys. They try to work their way up, or excuse me, Alex and Taven stall as they're almost right on the back of Law now. So on board Alex Rogers as he's going to try and find a way by Law. This is also going to hurt Jans, that mistake.
Chile! Sorry, Chile's gone up to 2nd. Just noticed on the screen, Chile's up to 2nd. He's past Beckham. And Beckham ran right through turn 3. That's what got Chile up into 2nd place.
Back to this battle for 8th place, though. Alex Rogers still all over the back of Law. He's going to try and find...
Sorry, that Beckham had a huge moment on the, like at turn 6.
Alex Rogers has had a huge moment.
More.
Alex Rogers had a huge moment at the exit of 5, got really squirrely in the loose end, but manages to hold on to it. He's really struggling with those medium tires around here, especially with all the sand over the track. That he is going to try.
Taking the corkscrew. Here we go. Sheets of 97 with Zanardi and Hertz. Oh! Oh, wow! Wow, help there, Alex. So
a bit of the onboard view. They touch going in on the exit, I should say, and he just gets squirrely and loose and loses 2 positions. So Alex Rogers is getting a little ahead of himself here.
How did he save onto that car without hitting the wall? I will never know. That was like full on sideways. Going into the right hand bit of the corkscrew and still kept off the wall. That's good car control from Alex, but what a save.
Now Taven's going to have a try at Law, and he looks to get this done here. It's a very safe pass up the inside of turn 1, the Andretti hairpin. Gets it done. Law lets him by Taven up into 8th place.
I was expecting to see like a pass at the corkscrew, because we've seen in the real races so many passes being made at the corkscrew, and I thought that could have been one of them right there.
Very well, it could have been back at the front. And Nugatti, 2.5 seconds to Chile, who was 3.2 to Beckham. So Beckham made a mistake somewhere, and Stig is now closing the gap to 1.5, 1.3 seconds.
It was around about this part of the track that Beckham ran right. Stig just did what Beckham did a lap ago.
He Behind them, we have Charles, TT, and Robocop, who's now within that 1 second gap. So Robocop, he looks to be on a bit of a move here. See if he can find a way by the Trinidadian of DM Charles, TT.
I think that's the best we've seen Robocop perform in this race, hasn't he?
That it has.
In this championship, I mean.
It is, but we also still have an hour and 40 minutes to go.
Charles is one wide through turn 10.
It's going to compromise him on entry here, and Robocop is now all over his back bumper.
Charles looks like he's struggling on the mediums. He's struggling to get the power back on the throttle. And now look at Robocop. Will he set up a pass going into the Andretti hairpin?
He might, but it looks like Charles has a bit of more pull on him than him on the front straightaway. He walked him, even though Robocop is in the slipstream. They should both be on. No, Charles is on the medium tire, so that's a bit strange to me.
Yeah, Charles on the mediums and Robo on the softs. But again, he's all over the back of him.
He is. Tips the sausage curve. That's going to cost him on exit, though. Now through turn 4. Still within that gap. He's going to try and find a way by. He might set up for the corkscrew.
Just seeing the board here with Alex Rogers. He's going to pass Law to the inside in turn 4. And Law's being put on the grass there. Didn't get shoved out wide. Just gave Alex a wide berth to put his Mazda on the inside. And now Alex up to 9th.
Robocop is still half a second behind Charles going into the corkscrews. I don't think he's close enough to try and get it done. Definitely not if he was to go for a dive bomb, but he definitely thinks of it. See the difference in braking zone. Charles has to brake way earlier on those medium tires compared to Robocop on his softs. You see just how much more grippy Robocop's car is with those softer compound tires. Guy once again goes off. Excuse me, that was turn 9. So Techno guy starting to struggle here, maybe getting into his own head a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Techno guy up there. He's a great driver, great person in the ARC, but he's really struggled with this Mazda in this championship, hasn't he?
Fair play to him. He did actually manage to qualify into the Tier A, and when you look at the stream that we had last week with Jake Dan Harry and the performance Jake Dan Harry can do, Techno Guy still beat him in that qualifying, so Techno Guy can definitely get the laps in when he needs to, but perhaps consistency over a race is where he needs to work on.
Matty definitely struggling now. He's like 18 seconds behind the Techno Guy, who's really more like drifting through every part of the corners now. 48 seconds he is behind the Gabi. I think this is only his second round. He's only been there for one race, and the rest he hasn't. So, should cut him at least some slack at least. But Matty definitely struggling, and he's also on medium tires at all.
Gatekeeper himself not having the best round here at Laguna Seca, but Robocop is still trying to hound the back of Charles T2, who actually seems to be closing on the stick a bit. He's a bit closer than he was the past few laps, as it looks like Beckham is falling right off the back of Chile.
That just sort of stabilizing between the Gatti to Chile. It's always been about 2 seconds or less than 1 second, so so I think he said some parts of the track that Chile's better than Gatti, but there's some parts that the Gatti's better than Chile. Don't forget, these two were the Gatti and Chile were the two teammates for the first round of the TBT at Fuji, and they put on a clinical show for ARC anyway. So
until Chile made a bit of a mistake. He did make a bit of a mistake there when fighting. He had a bit of a spin-out moment.
Yeah, he did, but he still got well to get a podium finish, though.
That he did. It was a great comeback. And now that he doesn't have to worry about Beckham right behind him, he looks to be pushing here to try and close the gap to Nagati, It was 1.8 before they entered the hairpin, but it does seem to be growing, so I guess Nugatti has now finally responded with his pace.
Yes, he has. He's actually gone fastest in the second sector, so Nugatti could possibly beat Beckham's fastest lap time here. The gap is slowly extending now, 2.2 seconds.
But Charles TT is all over the back of the Stig. Stig has made a mistake either in the corkscrew or just before, and now it's a 3-car battle for 4th place here. Charles is going to look up the inside of the last corner. He's going to try and late break up the inside. Can't quite do it. Robocop could get to capitalize off of this. So now side by side going across the start-finish line. Let's see what happens here. Charles goes up to 4th, so Stig loses a position.
Robocop will get a double draft off Stiggy and Chucky.
He's going to try and make it 3 wide. No, he will not. Stig's going to try and carry the speed. He's going to try and carry it around the outside. Robocop gets his nose in. He takes that 5th spot, but Stig will have the inside for the next corner. It's a close fight, and then Jans is behind him, and the more they fight, the more Jans is going to close up, and it could become a 4-car battle.
Oh. Stig hit the sausage curb at turn 3. Looks like he's got away with it, though.
And
Robocop no, he's down to 6th.
Robocop will hold on and get that 5th place, but now he's all over the back of Charles, who is on the medium tire. So
See what, that is quite impressive for Charles to beat that up in 4th place, considering where the others are on the medium tires. That is very impressive from Charles.
That it is, but it's also impressive from Robocop. He can be in the top 4 as long as he can find a way by Charles TT and maintain consistency. But he has to worry about the Stig all over the back of him now. Stig look up the inside, but not quite close enough to go for it.
Yeah, Robocop is in a precarious situation there. He's got to time that overtake perfectly. Although he's got a penalty.
That didn't look to be it wasn't a contact penalty, I don't think. That was a corner cut penalty. He's going to have to serve on the start finish straight. So he's going to have to give back that 5th position. Pulls offline. He's going to serve the rest of his penalty.
He will lose that 5th place now to... Look at Jans though. He might get there too.
Yeah, it looks possibly. Like he will. Jans will take that 6th place. Robocop will fall down to 7th.
I don't know if that was... because the penalty burn is not that big after the last turn. Did he expect it to be a big penalty burn, or... I don't know if that was...
He burned it before the start finish line and after the 11th corner. So I'm pretty sure he did it within the zone he was supposed to. Ooh, Alex Rogers sideways, and Tavenstall goes up the inside. That was, whoo.
That was that was like no room there. How could you squeeze a Mazda in that gap when Alex was sideways?
There's an excellent replay of it with the helicopter cam. And look, he just gets on that curve while braking.
Oversteered. It's like he oversteered, didn't he?
Yeah, a bit of a touch, and that's why you see Tavenstall jump to the right. But good job picking an opportunity to find a way by Alex Rogers. Alex Rogers cannot make those medium tires work here.
I was just about to say, Stig must have had a mistake. Because now Jans is up to 5th place.
That he is.
I'm just about to see here, to have a check on the replay. So Stig's going in towards the corkscrew, runs extremely wide, understeers, and goes at the gravel in the middle of the corkscrew.
And now he's lost another position back to Robocop, so he falls to 7th place.
And that's been what Stig's biggest weakness is. He'll have a great start, but then he'll just make slight mistakes here and there throughout the race, and then he'll fall back, and that's what Stig's been known to do. And it's disappointing because we know how good of a driver that he is, but he's got to learn to cut out those mistakes.
Back at the front though, Chile is seriously closing the gap to Bugatti. He's within 1 second now.
Just want to check to see the lap times here. Steady 137s for Chile. Nugatti on the 138s. They're both on the softs, but it looks like Chile's the more comfortable on the softs than Nugatti.
Going through turn 6 now, they're going to head up towards the corkscrew, 0.9 seconds the difference, and it does seem to be closing ever so slightly through every corner. 8/10 now the gap, and closing even more in the braking zone. Bugatti's starting to struggle a bit on his tires. So it's only 30 minutes into this race, and we've seen people make them last an hour.
Now this could be a huge problem for the Nugatti, because if he's not confident on those soft tyres, if he makes a pit stop, which would be possibly in the next, 5 laps or something, do you think the Nugatti will change tyres and go into the mediums when his Chile might not have to, because he looks quite comfortable on those softs now, as we're 18 laps in?
I don't think pitting for the medium tires just yet is the best call. I think Nugatti staying on the softs as long as he can is the best thing he can do. It's actually Charles and Jans make their pit stops. Jans is almost out of fuel.
You can see there, Charles and Sticky saved some fuel, but his Jans probably didn't.
That would explain why he managed to close the gap so quickly to the back of Robocopy.
Someone else is coming. Taven's also in. And Alex and all.
So let's see what they can do, because some drivers on those soft tires are making their pit stops now, but some drivers on the mediums are also making their stop. Probably just pitting for fuel.
Yeah, pitting for fuel, yeah.
What Charles is doing, I don't see any tires possibly going on that car. Well, there's tires there. I don't know if they changed. Still in the mediums.
Charles.
Still in the mediums. New set of mediums.
Oh, new set. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's only just one set of softs you can race on. That's fine.
It's interesting to me. He went for a new set of mediums, staying on the mediums he was on. Those tires last way longer than the softs.
Alex, I'm just checking to see what Alex is on. Alex is also on a full set, a fresh set of mediums. Sticky's now gone to the mediums. Law also made a pit stop. Taven's on a fresh set of mediums. Law's just coming in for fuel. Oh, in fact, Law's had a horrible. Law's gone as soft, but he's had a horrible stint there. 139 to 140. Lap 14, he did a 153, so he went off somewhere. So he's fallen right into the back. He's only put on like 69% of fuel in his car.
We had a question asking about all the fuel or tire wear and the fuel for all the drivers. Will they receive Nugatti's fuel and tire wear? And there we have Chile. So Chile does seem to be slightly better. So advantage to Chile.
Robocopy in the pits from 4th place, only had 1% of fuel left.
Beckham's tires are destroyed. That front right tire was almost at half life.
Yeah, he'll have to change to mediums now, isn't he? He has to change because he won't do another set, like a stint on those tires.
Robocopy staying on the soft tire but taking a fuel load. Back behind them, we're going to see Techno Guy. He's going to have to pit next time by, if not this time by. Behind them, we see Jans. There's his wear. And Charles, who seems to be the first driver after making the pit stops with almost a full tank of fuel and a new set of tires.
Robo is come out of the pit lane still with those soft tires.
So it's a new set of mediums versus a worn set of softs here in the battle for 5th. As Charles looks to try and find a way by Jans. Both these drivers did make a small pit stop. See, Charles is going to look up the inside. He has to go through. He gives room, but they're still side by side on the exit. Advantage is going to have to go to Jans here as they head towards turn 5, but no, he falls back in line, and Charles will take back that 5th place. The battle for the lead. Nugatti has once again built his lead up to 2 seconds, so Chile at some point must have made a mistake. I expect Beckham to be pitting within the next few laps, at least for fuel, if not also tires. And then there's a 33-second gap to Techno Guy in 4th. And then Charles is the first driver after making the pit stops here in 5th.
Yeah, Chile's done a couple of bad stints, a couple of bad laps. As Matty just comes out in front of Chile, so Matty's now gone a lap down. But Chile's last 2 laps have been a 38 and a 39.7, so Chile has made a couple of mistakes on those laps. As Techno Guy comes into the pits.
Let's see what he does. Looking at his tires, he might change to the mediums.
Sticky's just going by the last turn. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, he'll have to change onto the mediums. I don't think he can.
Yep, the tires going on.
Mediums.
Filling up the fuel tank. Let's see where he comes out. Looks to be.
So definitely 2 stops is not the way to go.
Excuse me.
For me, it looks like this.
There we go.
Maybe 2 or 3.
There, but we're back. It looks to be coming out around that. It's behind Alex Rogers. In front of, let's see what happens.
Yeah, Alex is ahead. So Alex up to 9th. Seca in 10th. Law 11th. Matty is the lap down still. But also Nugatti and Chile have yet to pit, as well as Beckham.
Beckham
So
not making
I think
his stop. He's not making a stop this time by, which is interesting to me. When you look at his tire and fuel wear, and you have drivers behind him that have made their pit stop, I think going this long is going to be a mistake.
Well, he'll definitely change to the medium tyres. You see him sliding on the second part of Andretti hairpin. But yeah, it's just Nugatti, Chile, and Beckham yet to make a pit stop. Beckham will still come out in 3rd place no matter what.
But look at the gap between him and Charles. In just one corner, that was 2/10. Now it's down to 36.4. Like, it's those new tires for Charles is working wonders when trying to close that gap to Beckham. And Beckham still has to make his pit stop. He has to get more fuel. Staying out on those softs as long as he has, I don't think it's going to work for him. The undercut might work really well for Charles.
It's actually, Charles is pulling away from Jans now, 1.6. They were battling side by side for like a couple of laps, but yeah, Jan just made mistakes about it. Charles runs wide through turn 3. And as you're looking at Beckham, he'll have to make a pit stop this time by. It'll be interesting to see if Nugatti and Chile will also come into the pit lane. I'm looking at Chile, he's staying out. Chile's staying out. Matty's picked up a half a second penalty, so he's short-cutted. He'll have to burn that. So Chile and Nugatti are staying out, and they're flashing red. Beckham looks like he's running on fumes at the moment, and now he definitely comes into the pit. So he will change to medium tyres. 34 seconds, so Charles has gained 2 seconds. I still think Beckham is good to be in 3rd place, like.
Yeah, he probably is still good to be in 3rd place, but I still think he lost too much time staying out, especially when you compare it to the time that he could have gained with a new set of tires to the leaders. See what happens here. A new set of mediums going on, so he does. His one stint on softs is now done. He's going to fill up quite a ways. And there you can see, if you look at the map on the top right corner of the map, you see Charles now
It's
the ground.
he's just entered, he's entered the final turn.
So across the start finish line soon here. He's going to be done fueling right quick.
Oh, in fact, you know what? I think Charles may have got him. Yeah.
I think Charles did get him too, but he might lose another one to Robocopy here.
Jans, you mean? Jans,
Oh, Jans, excuse me.
Matty's retired him with too much lag, so that's a shame to see. He'll come up just
Behind Jans. He's lost 2 positions by staying out too long, but he has on a new set of tires, but he holds on to it!
Oh, hello! That's how you get a fresh set of mediums going now.
That's one way to put heat in your tires, that's for sure.
He did that in turn 6 at the start of the race when he went by Chile, didn't he? And made it work. Anyways, the leaders are in, Chile and Nugatti.
Ooh, I just wanted to highlight a little battle here between 10th place. There's contact between Techno Guy and Law. Law gets in the side Techno Guy, but he relinquishes his position. And back at the front here, let's see what happens when these 2 pit stops. So Chile has more fuel, but Nugatti had the 1.1 second gap going into the pit lane. So who will come out on top? Let's see. They have a 44 second gap to what was Charles. So new set of tires.
Chile's changed tyres.
He has changed
I don't
tires.
think Nugatti's changed tyres.
I think he might have. I see the tires around the corners of the car, so he might have.
Oh, okay.
We're going to see what
It's
happens.
coming quite close. It's coming quite close, you know.
Going to mediums. Chile's fueling way more, though. He goes for a full tank of fuel instead of a half tank.
Oh, okay. Right. I can agree with that. I mean, there's about 80 minutes to go. I don't mind that idea.
He's going to have a lighter car. They're both on a brand new set of mediums. So I don't expect Chile to catch up to Nugatti that much. So Nugatti's a bit of a gamble here. He's going to try and build the gap early in this stint. But it's going to close down the next time they make a pit stop. So it's a bit of a gamble from Nugatti as long as he can get the pace. But the gap between Chile and Charles now is 8.5 seconds. So going for the undercut has definitely worked for Charles here.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah, you were completely right. I thought 34 seconds was was a big gap to hold on to third place, but yeah, my prediction was wrong and yours is correct, which means obviously you know better than me. So yeah, well done, man.
Well, as long as everything is right in the world.
Do you think it was a nice smart strategy from the Nugatti to put on less fuel than what Chile did? Because we've seen this before from the Nugatti, especially Blue Moon. He did under fuel and lost his second place and went on to finish third. So was that a smart idea from the Nugatti?
Well, if it was a regular 1 hour race, I'd say it'd be a bit sketchy, and he might not be able to pull it off. But because it's a 2 hour race, there's still going to be another stop that they're going to have to make for fuel regardless. I think he might be able to pull it off. It's just they're swapping strategies. Instead of Chile trying to fill up more his second stint, he's filling up now and then going to go for a less of a fuel load his final stint. Whereas what Nugatti did, he's going for a lesser fuel load now, try to build that gap as much as he can with a lighter car, but he's going to have to fill up more for his second stop. So this stint, it can easily make or break the race for Nugatti. It's down to him at this point. Doesn't seem like he's built the gap at all. It's pretty much stayed steady at 3.2.
I don't know if this is very unusual to hear this, but we know how good Alex Rogers is. He's 41 seconds behind Nugatti.
It is strange to hear that, and down in ninth, not even in the top 5. We do know going into this championship, Alex Rogers said he probably wouldn't have been the favorite to win because these cars, they're not suited for him. They're not as much grip as the GT3 cars that we normally run in these championships. So I didn't expect him to be as strong in this championship, but what we saw in other championships, he was still top 3 getting on the podium. And for example, he's second in the points. So when you watch this and you see him back in 9th place, 10 seconds behind Tavenstall, you have to ask what's going on.
I mean, obviously, there's been some mistakes here and there. It's just like back to season 2 when he was driving the Porsche. He was making loads of mistakes everywhere, around every track. And he's doing the same here again. It's just, it seems to me that his second place in the championship is under some serious threat from Nuggie, who's, you can see, he's out in front.
He's out, like, this is what Nugatti would absolutely have to do to get that second spot in the championship to beat Alex Rogers. Like we said, they're only 17 points apart. But there's a lot more than 17 points between 1st and 9th place right now.
It's 50 points for a win, and it's like 42 for second place. So that's already 8 points gone. Was it 35 for third? So that's like 17. As he picks up a 1 second penalty.
It's just going all wrong. I think it was, yeah. There's no one else near him. That had to be a corner cut. He's going to have to serve it on coming out the start-finish straight. And this race is just not going Alex's way.
Tell you what, if anyone's watching Alex's Twitch stream right now, I'd get away from it because I bet he'll be a bit red right now as he does pull over.
He's going to lose it back to Law.
Yeah,
this isn't what. He might hold on to it.
No, he won't. Law's going to go. Law's going to go.
Yeah, he
there
will.
You go. Yeah.
And we saw this at Suzuka, as you mentioned season 2. He gets stuck behind that driver, and he gets in his own head. He gets flustered. And that's when the mistakes happen, and they're already happening. So, and there's still another hour and 17 minutes left to go in this race.
Yeah, this is the Alex of season 2 we're seeing. This is not the Alex of season 3 that we're watching.
100%. But back at the lead, Nugatti still leading 1.8 seconds, so it has come down a little bit in favor of Chile. It'll be enough. We'll have yet to see when they make their second stop. Charles still in 3rd, 3.7 seconds to Jans in 4th, who's 2.5 over Beckham, but that gap actually seems to be falling a little bit. So Beckham might regain 4th, possibly be battling for 3rd come the next stops. Robocopy in 6th behind them. Then we have the Stig in 7th, then Taven in 8th, Law in 9th, and then there's the Alex Rogers we were talking about for so long in 10th place.
Jans is, like he says, he's starting to fall back from Charles, but Beckham is starting to close up because Jans has stayed on the soft tyres that he started with. So Beckham should get by Jans probably within the next 3 laps or so. Around about that, I would say that.
I would have to see too as well. It's been that last quarter, just that first, the Andretti hairpin alone, he gained 2 tenths. So I would have to assume that possibly This might not go Jan's way as he almost has a big moment there through turn 4. That's not going to help him in his pursuits. And also, another thing to note, he's one of the few drivers that actually chose to stay out on the softs. He didn't make a tire change in his pit stop. He's going to have to make a pit stop here within the next, roughly, I want to say, 4 or 5 laps.
Possibly. As well as Robocop, he stayed out as well on those one set of softs. But it'd be quite stupid if he'd go use all the fuel up on the same set of softs. He would fall back so much there. And I mean, this is a guy who didn't even qualify too. So for him to be up there in 4th place as he has another sideways moment, he's definitely struggling on those one set of softs. But no, I mean, no matter what, this has been a great show from Jans, who didn't qualify. He had to watch it.
Yeah, it is a great performance so far, but as I mentioned, in roughly 4 or 5 laps, he's going to need to make another pit stop because of looking at his fuel, he's under 25%. Look at his tires, he's going to have to make a tire change. When you look at the rest of the field as compared to him, he's probably going to come out. 30 seconds was roughly the pit stop time. I would have to say he's probably going to come out somewhere around where Taven's stall is, I would argue.
He's actually battling with the stick, 1.2 between those two. So there's a battle going on for that 7th place.
But let's have a look at everyone's tires currently on this stint, as both Nugatti and Shirley are on a new set of mediums after their stops. Charles is on a set of mediums as well. Beckham, who's on his set of softs, who stayed at, Jans, who's on his worn set of softs. We're talking about Beckham on a new set of mediums. Robocopy on his set of softs that he hasn't changed yet. Stig on mediums. Taven on mediums. Law is on a set of softs, so he's on a new set of softs, trying to make up a lot of time here on this stint. We have Alex Rogers on a set of mediums, but he still has that set of softs in his back pocket. And then we have Techno Guy on a set of mediums.
You were just saying that Alex has still got that set of softs there, but I would say the damage has already been done.
Charles started this race on the softs, correct? Or was it mediums?
No, he started on mediums.
So yes, he still has that soft set left, and he's only, the gap to the leader is 8.6 seconds. So if he keeps up his pace, he could jump to those soft tires and potentially battle for a lead here.
I want to see these last 2 laps now, because Charles was faster than Chile the last lap. And this lap, he is still faster. So Charles is slowly catching up on Nugatti, 8.6. But like you say, Nugatti and Chile's already done their soft stint, and Charles hasn't. He could be, he
could be in it for a win here.
I just don't know what strategy that works. Yeah, he could be on course for a win. And we see him how fast he was in practice. He was the fastest of all.
It's quite possible we were wrong, and maybe starting on the medium tires is the strategy to go for it.
I mean, it didn't work for Lord or Alex, but it certainly worked for Charles, hasn't it?
It definitely has. 7.2 to gap.
Although, to be fair though, Charles hasn't done a mistake like Law or whatever has. So that's why he's stayed up there. And I mean, this is a very solid show from Charles, this.
And if Chile does manage to close the gap to Nugatti and they start battling for position, the gap is going to close even more.
Where is Charles at the points? He's sitting in 5th place. He's 35 points better behind Taven. Taven's down in 8th place. So how many points is 8? How many? 3rd place gets you what? 35? And 8th place gets you 15? 25? 20 points? No, he still won't catch Taven. I thought he would have, but no, turns out he won't. But it would be a lot closer to Taven.
But if he manages to win it, should something happen between Nugatti and Chile, or he manages to catch up in strategy with pit stops, that'd be 50 points. He might take 3rd place in the championship with that.
He possibly could. And the gap is now sort of growing down now, 6.7 seconds. So Charles, he's there. He's in the zone.
He's definitely eating into the lead, and back behind him,
Beckham's past. Yeah, Beckham's past Jans.
8.7 seconds between Beckham and Charles, but Beckham on the newer tires than Charles, so he might be able to close, and it does seem to be 8.6 in that corner just alone. So we could actually see a 4-car battle for the race lead come the later stages of the race. I do want to say a good thank you to Ronald Thomas for that spot where they're asking whether or not Charles has used the softs yet. So that's Ronald Thomas for you. So the rest of the field, there's a stick going wide once again through turn 3. He seemed to actually get ahead of Taven Stalled here. Alex Rogers actually got back in 10th still, and actually losing time to Law. Alex Rogers is not having a good time today.
No, he's definitely not. 4.2 seconds over Law, which we've only seen Law on a couple of occasions. This is... I really don't know what's going on with Alex. He's just making too many mistakes out there.
It's uncharacteristic of him from what we've seen now. Normally he's the smart, calm, collected Alan Prost kind of driver he just does the bare minimum of what he needs to do. He'll sit in your slipstream and save fuel. But today we're seeing just not that.
Like I says, the season 2 of Alex, that's what he is.
Yeah, but with even less pace. Like this is Alex in like before he joined ARC. Back at the front. Oh, Jans makes his pit stop, so there it is. He makes his pit stop as well as Taven. Taven actually has to make a pit stop as he seems to be out of fuel.
Yeah, he's actually out. And Taven, he was one of them that did start on the softs. So he'll just put fuel only because his medium tyres are still looking very good.
So Jans did
What's Jans done?
He switched
he
tires.
changed tires?
Yep, he has changed tires. He's going to fuel up here, so he's probably going to come out. I want to say, let's see where Alex Rogers is on track. Let's see. Okay, he's coming out behind Alex Rogers. So Alex Rogers getting a few positions here at pit stops. So that'll lessen the blow a little bit, but he's still not gaining any time on Law. Back at the front though, 1 second separating Chili and Nugatti. And then Charles still 6.6 seconds behind Chili. So the gap's evened out a little bit.
Slowly coming down, yep, it definitely is.
Currently Law 2.26 actually with the fastest lap of the race with a 37.1. Let's see what happens.
Law's got to be pitting within the next 2 or 3 laps as he has a huge moment. Hits the sausage curb at turn 6 did Law. He's gone way off onto the rail hole straight away. You'll see it on the replay. He clips the curb hugely in turn 6. Here he goes. Bang, and that upsets the car and off he goes.
Yeah, he just clipped the curb, the front end got light, so he counter-steered the car, then the car came down a bit while he was counter-steering, and that's what launched him all the way to the right-hand side of the track.
I think he was going to another state, but going off right that way, didn't he?
Well, he's going down the mountain at that rate if you didn't correct it. Still 8 tenths now separate Chili and Nugatti, so these two have been battling it out throughout the course of the race. But remember, Chili has more fuel in his tank than Nugatti does. And now he's going to have the slipstream, so this should favor Chili come the pit stops. Unless he keeps making mistakes like that, going just a little bit wide.
Charles is gapped, Chucky's gapped to Chili's nearly coming down less than 6 seconds.
6 tenths.
Well, the gap between Chucky to Chili's now 6 seconds. It was
now,
like
now
6.7.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's just the way you said it, it's like it's come down 6 seconds, but it hasn't yet.
Oh, yeah, that's, England.
But now it's even more. Now 5.6. What's happening here? 5.5. In just 1 quarter alone, he gained half a second. What has happened?
I want to check on the lap times. Oh, Charles runs right through turn 10. He's lost some time at least. So let's
Charles will have to pit before them as he has less fuel.
138 to a 138.1. But yeah, like he says, he has to pit sometime soon. Don't forget, Nugatti and Chili were the ones with the late people to make a pit stop.
If he could pit somewhere around the 1 hour mark, he could possibly go to the end on a set of softs and just pit on fuel, which you can do 100% without an issue here, because we've seen those soft tires last an hour. Some drivers, and they made it last an hour here, so it might be a little bit of a struggle, but I mean, if he pits for a splash and dash, puts an extra 30-40% fuel in his car, that comes in a bit later, switches to the softs with a little bit more fuel, he might come out in front. as we see Alex Rogers and both Lost now starting to make their pit stops. So let's see what Alex Rogers does. This seems to be just a simple fuel stop for Alex Rogers. So he's doing my strategy that I just mentioned that Charles should do. Actually, no, he's putting on a new set of tires. That's interesting.
That was that softs or sticking with the mediums.
We're gonna have to see when he comes out.
65 minutes to go. Will that be good enough for the one set of softs?
We haven't seen anyone make the 1 hour mark with a set of soft today. So he is on the soft.
Charles had a huge moment on the exit of the corkscrew. He's definitely pushing that Mazda. Here we go onto the Rahal Street and then into the corkscrew. He must have gotten the power a bit too early, and you see the back end kick out.
But he manages to save it. He doesn't put it in the wall, but that's definitely going to hurt his chances of fighting for a win. The gap's now increased to 8.2 seconds, but Chile is still within 7/10 of Nugatti.
Just checking to see what Alex is on. Alex is now on the soft tires. So Alex on the softs. He's down in 11th place, 2 seconds ahead behind the tape. And yellow flags have been lighting up. Someone's off at turn 9.
Let's see if we can find who that is. It was Stig.
It's Stig. Stig went off at turn 9 at the Rady curve. That's unusual.
He just goes wide on the entry. He goes way too wide, gets his rear tire in the dirt. It spins around, and in the gravel he goes.
That's an unusual place to spin a car there.
It is. It's because he went wide on entry. He went too wide, which is, you don't normally go wide in that corner. So I wouldn't expect. We've like, every race so far in this championship has been 1 hour, and we have 4 minutes until we hit that 1 hour mark. So I don't want to say fatigue is an issue, but perhaps lack of practice.
It could be a bit of both, really. I mean, if Stig's on a wheel, then fatigue could play a part in this.
Still 8/10 between the two, first and second. Charles still in third, but the gap has actually now grown to 9.2 seconds. 9 flat now, actually. So he's still pushing that car. He still has more in it, 8.9. 9 seconds, so there's still more in it, but he's going to have to pit roughly within the next 2 laps.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you think he kind of lost his momentum and having that moment through the corkscrew? Must have.
Excuse me. He might have had. It would have thrown him off for the next few corners, but I feel like he would have been able to keep closing that gap. Should he knows he's faster. All it takes is that one corner to gain 2/10, and you go, okay, I have this in the bag, and you kind of get back in that mindset. For example, he's already back at 8.8 seconds after it was 9 seconds at the corkscrew. So. It's still not over for him, and I think he still knows that, but Beckham is 7.6 seconds behind, and he hasn't really gained that much time on him, even though he's on an older set of mediums compared to Beckham. So he's in a really good position, and he still has those softs that he can jump on. It's just all going to come down to when he pits and how his strategy goes from this point on.
Which probably could be this time by. He's not got a lot of red float flashing on, showing on his fuel gauge. I'm just wondering, because we were talking about making like the set of softs go the full 1 hour. Chile did it to Sedegna. He went on the full set of softs throughout the whole race, and that what got him the win. He didn't change to the medium tyres, which is still perfectly allowed. So maybe having a race on a set of softs could an idea for maybe Charles to go in, because it's like, what, 62 minutes to go? Possibly could be. I think that's what Alex is thinking of the same. Is you on board with him? Yes, you are.
Yeah, he's just in the middle of this 4-car battle for 8th place here. He managed to work his way by Techno Guy, as he's now on the set of tires he had. And he's got Havenstall and Law in front of him, who are both on the medium tire at this point. So the advantage should go to Alex Rogers, but that's only going to put him into 8th place, and there's a big gap to the next car in front of him as Charles makes his pit stop now.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if this... Yeah, he's changing tires. He's going to the soft tires. So, this is it. What can Charles do? The Gatti and Chile may have to pit one more time, I believe.
Quite possible. Let's see if he actually goes on to another set of mediums or goes to a softs. He might save the softs for the last time, because as we mentioned, Nugatti and Chile, they're done. They're done on the soft tires, so he can stay on the mediums if he really needs to, and just kind of try to beat them on fuel.
Charles should be on softs here. He should be. If he wants to win this race, he should get on the softs right now. And no, he stays on the mediums. Okay.
New set of medium tires.
So he's saving his last stint for softs.
feel confident quite in himself to try and go an hour in 1 second on the. He shows up in chat saying, "I wish I could go pee." But he's in.
Alright, racing drivers can pee in their suits, so you could do that. No harm in that. No more look at it.
We have no rules about movable ballast in ARC.
You may need to clean yourself up after though, but
But he comes out in 5th, behind Robocopy, 17 seconds. But that's to be expected. That was a pit stop, 43 seconds now. So I guess a pit stop here around is roughly 36 seconds. Because he was 8 seconds when he made that stop, 8-9 almost. And now he's 43 seconds. So if he can close that gap a good amount, he could be within a good zone, especially when he still has those soft tires.
More importantly, though, he's in clean air. He's not in the battle with anyone, so that's also good for Charles. He's out in clean air. Robocopy comes in.
He comes in from his soft stint. I think he's going to be changing his tires. Yes, he will be. So he's going to be going to the mediums. So he used the softs this time by to try and gain some time and some positions. But he's going to come out behind Charles and possibly behind the Stig. That's going to favor Charles here, as the rest of the drivers in front of him still have yet to pit. So this undercut could work great for Charles.
Stig's also in.
Now past the 1 hour mark. 59 minutes remain. See what happens here when Stig finally makes it to his pit box. Robocopy fills up almost all the way back to the medium tires. There goes Stig putting on a new set of tires.
It's okay, Matt. He's just left the room because his car was stuck in the pit, so that's all right.
Goes out once again on our set of mediums. Full tank of fuel, but it comes out. It's going to be, I want to say, let's see who that is behind him. That might actually be.
That'll be the leaders.
Yeah, he might come out 11th actually. Yeah, he will be 11th. My techno guy.
It's just about less than 5 seconds as Alex is looking to the inside of Law, and it will take 7th place. So Alex trying to recover what's been a disappointing race, so he's up to 7th place, a little bit more respectable. Looks like he had the move set up and going into turn 3, didn't he? And then into turn 4, Law just says, go on and you go by, and you can have that position. So
There you go. Your leaders still 1 second apart at this point. Let's see the difference in fuel. Oh my, wow, that's a big difference in fuel between Chile and Nugatti.
But don't forget, Nugatti put in 82% of fuel, whereas Chile went the whole gap and went all the way up to 100. Mm-hmm. So,
but Chile's
been saving this whole entire time.
This could go the way of Chile big time come the next stops.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with Nugatti when he came into the pit lane. Do you think he put in less fuel than Chile was a good idea or a mistake? It turns out it could be a mistake because Chile might need to pit one more time. I don't know with Nugatti if he needs to pit again, if he goes on again, but
if Nugatti was able to build that gap, if he was able to build that gap or at least maintain it earlier on in the stint instead of losing the 2 seconds he had after that stop, it might have gone the way of Nugatti, or it would have been a dead heat. Because he lost that 2 seconds while under fueling, this 100% has gone the way of Chile. Beckham's still in a very solitary 3rd place. Let's have a look at his fuel. He's got 25% left, so he's in the same boat as Nugatti. Charles, the first driver to pit for this 2nd stop here in 4th. He looks to be able to be good to go. 41 seconds till leaders. So I think he's actually gained a fair amount of time. He still seems to be gaining time. If he can gain roughly 2 more seconds, he'll come out way better than he was when he first made his stop.
Possibly a battle for 8th place is going on. Law versus Taven. Alex has basically freed himself from that battle. Taven a little sideways at the first part of the corkscrew complex. teensy bit of time.
Ooh, Taven goes wide,
Oh,
though.
he's gone wide. Yeah, gone wide. I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised to see Alex not pull away from Law, considering that Alex is on the softs and Law's on the mediums.
It is a little surprising, especially when you consider it's a new set of softs compared to a worn set of mediums.
That could be roughly about the same lap times with it on.
The softs should be way faster at that point.
Possibly, yeah.
Still 1 second between Nugatti and Chile, 18.8. So Beckham in third. But Chile's just sitting there biding his time. He knows Nugatti fueled less than him, and he managed to close the gap to him. 55 minutes remain here at Laguna Seca.
I'll tell you what, if I was Charles right now, he has to push. He's really got to push every lap because, I don't know, but my instincts, I think Chile will make one more pit stop and then that's it. Whereas Charles has to make another pit stop to go onto the soft tyres. But I think this is where Charles, I don't know if Charles has made the mistake by staying on the set of soft mediums. I don't know if he should have went to softs. I mean, he is catching Beckham. It's now nearly down to 20 seconds. But I don't know if it was a mistake by going to this another set of mediums than a set of softs would have been the perfect idea for him.
Nugatti's got roughly 3 to 4 laps left in his fuel tank. Chile's got a good 20 to 35% left. Beckham's got a little under 25%. So I would say if Charles really wants to be competing with these guys after they make their pit stop, he really has to crank up the laps somehow. But he's going to have to close the gap to roughly 37 seconds. And he's 39.5 right now, so it is coming down. It's coming down at a good rate. But he still has those soft tires, so they're probably going to come out. He's probably going to come out behind them after they make their stop. But the gap's going to be even closer than what it was. And the undercut has definitely seemed to be working this entire time. And as we mentioned, he still has those soft tires. And that's where most of that time is going to come from. They won't have to pit again. Possibly. I mean, they're on the medium tires, but they'll have to pit on fuel. I don't think they're going to make it to the end, even if they fill up all the way.
Technical guy going into the pit staying from 11th place. Lord and Taven are having their battle for 8th place. Just going into the infamous turn 6, where that annoying sausage curb is. And Law hits the sausage curb, but he's sideways. Taven really didn't take any opportunity on that mistake from Law. There you go, you see it now, into the corkscrew we go for the 40th time. Did you see, there we go. Yep, Taven. I thought he would have jumped on that moment from Law making a mistake at turn 6, but it looks like he just wants to stick it behind him.
Interesting to me is that Law has a Tesla sponsor on his car.
Where about is it?
Right inside.
Is it? I never even noticed it. He's driving a Mazda. That's controversial.
It is. I have to open up the hood and get that tech inspection going. Make sure there's no batteries in that car.
I'm still disappointed to see a Pikachu on the back of it, but you know, oh well.
What do you got against Pikachu? What's wrong with Pikachu?
I'm not a fan of Pokemon. Oh, he runs right though at turn 2. Oh, is Taven gonna have a look? No. He's gonna stick it behind. See, if you must have capitalized on that, like on the driver's mistakes. We saw from what Alex did a few laps ago when he got sideways at turn 3, and Taven took that opportunity to get by him. This time he's not seemingly to do so against Law.
He might just be comfortable sitting in the wings and saving a bit of fuel. He might not have been able to hit his fuel strategy the way he wanted, but now that he has a car in front of him, he might have to just adjust his pace a little bit. I mean, he is flashing his lights. His hazard lights are on.
Chile has lost a lot of time in the gap, 3.4 seconds.
He has.
So, yeah, I'm just looking at his lap
throw
times.
a wrench into everything.
This could allow Charles to get back into this now, but Nugatti will be pitting probably this time
He's
by.
within that gap. He's 37 seconds. He's where he needs to be to make this a win, a very much a possibility here.
I was just about to say Chili's last lap time. He's been doing consistent late 38s. That last lap he did was a 140 363. So he did make a mistake. Again, we didn't see it because we were concentrating on the battle between Lord and Taven. But that mistake from Chili has probably allowed Charles to get back into this now. 4 seconds now. Nugati's pulling, but he's got to be pitting this time by, and indeed he does.
He is. Will Chili follow him into the pits? He will not respond.
I don't think he will. Chili's got about 25% left of fuel.
What's going to be interesting to me is whether or not Charles will actually be able to close the gap, or he'll be close enough. It was around 38 seconds before Nugati made his pit stop, so he might not be close enough, but he could still lose it going down into turn 1. So this is going to be pretty interesting whether or not Charles, in his pit stop strategy, will actually be better than what the leaders are doing.
Beckham's also in the pits from third. I'm just noticing Charles, he's just gone by the rainy curve, so he's going into turn 10 at the moment. That's possibly Techno Guy ahead of him, just going into the last corner.
Real close.
It's going to be very close. Techno Guy has actually picked up a penalty. He served it on the start-finish straight. Where's Nugati? Nugati's coming out. Charles just has gone by the start-finish line right now. It's going to be so close. Here we go, let's see. Get back to Nugati. There you see him. He's coming out the pit lane. Oh, they're going to be side by side, aren't they?
They are going to be. Charles' strategy has worked out great. Nugati's a little ghosted here. Maybe he might have been paused there, but he lost a little bit of time. But now Charles is all over the back of him. But Nugati, did he actually put on his tires? He did. So this encounter should favor Nugati here. But if Charles can get in front of him and actually slow him down a little bit, and then Charles could be on for a great podium finish here. And actually, if you look at the leaderboard, I was going to say Alex Rogers was up into 4th place for a second there, but Beckham still had to come out of his pit stop. So Alex Rogers had a bit of recovery drive on those soft tires. This is working away by Robocopy.
Sorry there, Charles is all over the back of Nugati, but Nugati does have more fuel than Charles. Charles should be the faster of the two as we're going into
and there's lap traffic of Techno Guy in front of them.
That's the Techno Guy in front of him, so this could play a part in this. The Techno Guy should be smart and just let them by, have themselves a good clean battle for second place. Blue flags are being shown to Techno Guy.
And Charles has gained even more time to Chili, 32 seconds. So if Chili makes his stop, he would come out. Charles would come out, or Chili would come out, excuse me, behind Charles.
Now, do you think Charles will see
he's
going to the inside?
He looks, but couldn't quite get it done. That's going to compromise his exit, but still Techno Guy's in front. So this isn't quite over just yet. And if you look at, actually, he's great on tires. Charles has half a tank of fuel and is absolutely great on his tires. The tires shouldn't be any different, but this would actually favor Charles. And he still has that set of softs.
I was just about to say, do you think he should be saving fuel at least on Nugati, so he'll come into the pit lane and it won't be as long as, 30 plus seconds to go into the soft tires?
At this point, yes. Save as much fuel as you can. Short fuel the car, switch to soft tires, and then come out and then just pass everyone back on track. This race 100% falls into the hands of Chucky here.
Now they're closing up on Techno Guy very quick, and we're coming to a sequence of corners where it's not easy to get here to overtake. Still, Techno Guy's got to be smart here. He's got to let them go by. Nugati's very close to the back of Techno Guy. This could complicate things for Nuggy and for Chucky.
Blue flags away, and Nugati goes wide. He almost loses the rear end, and this is it. This is it. Charles goes up into second, and that's effectively a battle for a lead once Chili makes his pit stop. Once Chili makes his stop for fuel, Charles right now effectively is leading the race.
I don't know if it was to do with the lap traffic though, but it must have put Nugati off. That Techno Guy didn't move out of the way.
Look at the gap already. He's like almost
running wide.
He's opened up it up to a second. Techno Guy still hasn't gotten out of the way. I'm sure
He
both the drivers.
He's got everybody. He now runs wide. So now Charles up into second place, and Nuggy's down to third. But that's really big for Nugati. And you see Alex is now up to 5th place. So.
Look at his tires. He's still got just under half a tank, and his tires are absolutely phenomenal. He saved them expertly throughout that stint, and he can still push them for the rest of this 46 minutes. He doesn't even need to go to the soft tire. He just needs to pit for fuel and then come out.
I would still say go for fuel. go for the soft tires because you're going to be quicker than Chili and Noggy no matter what. You'd have to go for it, like complete balls to the floor. 31 seconds and closing. Chili sideways in the middle of the corkscrew, so that will gain a bit more time on Charles.
Chili's tires are worn. He's going to have to pit within the next 3 laps. Charles is leading the race right now. The medium strategy at the start of the race has worked out beautifully for him.
It's a battle going on at the Andretti corner. I don't know who that could be. It's Lauren and Taven. Sorry, they're still reuniting the battle. But yeah, this is all come perfect for Charles. This is like Christmas.
He's opening up the gap even more. 1.3 seconds to Nagati through the corkscrew. 45 minutes remaining in this race. He could pit now, fuel up, put softs on, and then run to the end. Although I'm pretty sure Nugatti would be good to go to the end at that point. Nugatti is good to go to the end. He's going to the end. Charles will have to pit. I don't know if at this point he has to build the gap now. He has to lose as much of those tires as he can. But even if he jumps to the soft tire, whether or not the time difference that he would gain from going to it would be worth it. What times is he doing right now on those mediums?
He's doing consistent 138, 138.4. His last 4 laps, 138.4, 138.6, 138.2, 138.2. Chili, 143, 139.4, 139.5, 139.5. So he's gaining at least like a second a lap on Chili.
He has to pit for fuel still, so even if he jumps to the soft tire and he cranks out those qualifying laps, he cranks 37 flats. With Nugatti where he is, I don't know. It's going to be close because Charles still has to pit again for fuel. Even if he makes it, it's about 5 seconds just to change tires.
I tell you what, I got a guy that's actually starting to come alive now. It's Alex. He's all over the back of Beckham, less than a second. He did set up the fastest lap a couple of laps ago, so Alex has finally woken up. But it's still pretty late though, 56 seconds by Chili, but about 43 minutes to go. He's looking like he's found his confidence again. This is the season 3 of Alex now that we're seeing.
Yeah, he's starting to climb back, 55 seconds to the leaders though. Beckham is the one on the newer set of tires, but Alex is still in the softs. So will he try to go up the inside through the corkscrew? Nobody gets real close. Maybe a bit of a tap there. Let him know that he's there. These guys are seeing lots of battles going on in season 4, or excuse me, season 3. We saw these two battle a lot on track. Here it says Ronald Thomas in the chat. It says Nugatti actually doesn't have enough fuel to make it to the end.
Alex to the inside of the last corner and takes 4th place away from Beckham. So Alex up to 4. Oh, you've seen it on your screen. Sorry, my apologies. I was looking on my screen. I didn't see your screen.
It's 25 seconds to the next car off the road, which is Nugatti. Charles, 28 and a half seconds to Chili. And Chili's going to have to make his pit stop this time by, I would expect, yes.
Yes, he does. And the question is, though, will Chili stay on those medium tyres or will he go for a fresh set? Because his mediums look a bit wear, especially the fronts. They do look a bit wear.
That's a tough one. And if what Romo Thomas in the chat does say is true, and that he actually doesn't have enough fuel to make it to the end. He's 75% fuel. 42 minutes remaining.
Chili. In comes Chili. This is it. Looks like there's still tires for him. No, that is. Sorry, that is. So we'll go on to the new set of mediums.
It's a pretty safe bet.
But it looks like Charles will take the lead, but he will have to make a pit stop for softs.
And for fuel, he doesn't have to go to the softs, but he will need fuel.
Oh, he doesn't, man.
So here's the fuel going in the Chili's car. Here's Charles TT going across the start-finish line, so they definitely gained a lot of time for him. But when you look at Charles's car, he's got just a little over 25% fuel. He's probably going to pit around the 35-minute mark, go to softs, just have enough fuel to go to the end and just push the snot out of that car.
Chili's gone up to 100%. He's gone all the way to the end. This is all good like this, isn't it? Here we go. Let's see. So Chile comes out in third place. What's the gap now? 9.5 seconds over Nugatti. 11 seconds ahead and behind is Charles.
15 seconds to Alex Rogers. So this is basically who's going to finish on the podium barring some big accident. But Nugatti's done an excellent job to try and stay on Charles. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he knows he has to stay there to try and save a bit of fuel. He's only still at 75%, so he's heavily fuel saving. Let's see if we can see what he's doing with the short shifts. Is he short shifting a lot?
Just see,
He's downshifting. Let's see.
You gotta hear it from the engine itself. Third. It's definitely not a lot of straightaways to actually notice that he is short shifting.
He seems to be revving it.
Yeah, it's flashing there going into fourth. I don't know, like it's.
See if he doesn't go straight away. Yeah, he's revving it.
It's flashing.
He's definitely revving it.
So to me, it's just like he's no saving.
He's not saving fuel. He's still 75%, just a little underneath. He might be good to the end, but Rono says he's not. So, Charles, we know he's
Is this another case that the Gatti is under fuel yet again? And that could all come down to that first pit stop, where he went on to 82% of fuel.
It very well is, but another key thing here is the gap between Chile and Charles. 12.5 seconds.
It's growing. It's growing.
Is it?
It's definitely growing. It's now up to 11 seconds. He came up 9.5. It's now up 11.4.
Well, I think that might have been because he had to try and find a way back Techno Guy, but that's entirely possible. It seems to be growing. It was Techno Guy clipping on the outside of that curve. 2 wheels up in the air.
Oh!
It's just
got off again.
It's just the thing is, when he makes that pit stop, it's going to be roughly 23 seconds between Chile and Charles when Charles makes his pit stop for fuel. If he goes to the soft tires, he has to try and think, can I close 20 seconds in 35 minutes?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many options out in the open here for Charles. Do you think he should pit now? He's got just shy of 25% left of fuel. There'll be at least a lot of time for him to catch up to the Gatti if he's on the soft.
13 seconds now between them, so it is growing. Charles is definitely pushing as much as he can right now.
Oh, I tell you what, if the Gatti is saving fuel, Charles has to pit because, like he says, he's still got his soft tires to go to. He should be pitting now. There's 38 minutes to go. There'll be at least plenty of time for the Charles to catch up to the Gatti and to Chile. But obviously Charles wouldn't know what fuel Nugatti's on, but obviously we know that Nugatti can't go to the end. So, it's beauty in this, isn't it?
I think he has to pit around the 35-minute mark, go to the softs, fuel just enough to make it to the end, and just run it. But just bang out qualifying times.
If he posts in the stream when he was saying that he needs to go, if he could hear this, pit now, Charles, pit.
13.2 between Chile and Charles, 11 seconds with Alex in fourth, Beckham in fifth, Robocopy. Yes, Thomas TT asked in chat, Charles still has the soft tires to go to. Robocopy in sixth, Law in seventh, still battling out with Taven. They haven't changed position, but they still nose to tail. Stig in ninth, Jans in 10th, Techno Guy in 11th, and Maddie the one retirement. 1.3 seconds between him now. It's so close. It
is. It really is.
He doesn't go in yet.
He's got to pit sometime soon. You have to pit.
I wonder if he might actually try and use as much fuel as he can now to try and empty out the tank and then keep a lighter tank while he's on the soft tires. That might be what his strategy is. But then he won't have a lot of time.
He wouldn't have a lot of time to catch up. That's why I say get the pit stop now, get it over and done with, go to the soft tires. At least you got a bit of time to catch up to the Gatti in Chile. But if he's doing what he's doing right now, he's not going to have enough time to catch up to the Gatti in Chile to get that win.
Can you see what time Chile is doing?
Chile's times are Right, so he pitted in, that was the lap 47, lap 48 was his out lap, lap 49, 139.0, lap 50, 138.9. So those were his 2 laps out on these medium tyres. Bugatti's doing a 137.9, 138.3 for Bugatti. Charles' last 2 laps, 138.3, 138.1. But he's got to be pitting sometime soon. He's down to about 12%, but then the more time he nearly lost it in the turn 6. But then the more time the more time he's out there, he's going to add more fuel, and it's going to cost him even more time behind Bugatti and Chile.
It's so close, and it's growing 14.7 seconds. Ronald Thomas is doing the math in the chat, and he says that it should be following the way of Charles.
Charles is staying out again. He's staying out for another lap. Oh, Charles, pit. Just pit. This time by. Pit this time. You've got the win in your hands. You're going to blow it away. This is not favoritism, is it? I hope not.
14.6 seconds, the gap between Charles and Chile. Bugatti looking at his fuel. It's half a tank, 30 minutes left to go. It's going to be close. It's going to be close for Bugatti, but for Chile...
it's going to be tight because now he is slowly falling in the hands of Alex. He's now 8.6 seconds behind, but I've just noticed his fuel, he's about less than 10% of fuel.
So 15 seconds now between him and Chile.
Oh, Charles, you've got to make your pit stop now. If you want to win this race, how bad do you want this win? You've been fastest of all in practice. You've been fast right from this get-go. You've got to make it. Gap is still sort of staying the same between Bugatti and Charles, isn't it?
It is. That's because Bugatti's in the. That's because Bugatti is in the draft. As soon as if Charles was to break that draft, he'd be gone for Bugatti.
Yeah, and then Charles will definitely have to save fuel. And Bugatti will have to save. The most important thing for Charles is that he doesn't underfuel. He's got to know how much percent he's got in that fuel tank. He's now flashing red. So is this the time where Charles pits? Let's see.
It is. It is. He is.
He's in. Right. So this is it.
Let's have a look at Chile here. We came in with, it was 14.5, but that was because he was entering the pits. So Chile will come out in front. We know that. He'll come out in front. But whether or not it'll be Charles, there's the tires ready. He's going to be changing. He still has to go to those softs. It's going to depend on how much fuel he has to put in the car. Tires
fuel is
first.
Absolutely critical at this point.
Tires go on first, the fuel goes in. Let's see what he comes out with.
The worst thing that Charles would have is dirty air. It's like having a battle with another car. Alex has now gone up into third. He's just gone by the Andretti hairpin.
He comes out now. How much fuel? 100% fuel?
Okay then, I'll be alright with that. I think I'm fine with that. He'll have his fuel all the way, his fuel mixture down to 1. So he'll be pushed out.
But he also has RoboCop, he has Beckham in front of him, he has Alex in front of him, and Chile, and then Bugatti. So he has 4 cars to pass in front of him. 35 seconds the gap between him and Bugatti currently. 32 minutes remaining, but he's on the soft tire.
Alex has got to pit in a few laps now because his fuel is flashing red. Yeah, he's going to be pitting this time by. So Alex is no threat to Charles. He's got to get by Beckham in a hurry if he's got a chance to win. 34 seconds, as you see. So what's the gap between Chile? It's about 19 seconds between Chile to Charles. And there's about 30 minutes to go.
And he's immediately closing up on Beckham in just 1 corner, 2 corners in half a second. So it's going to be super close. If you look at Bugatti's fuel,
Alex is in the pits.
Yeah, Alex pits, so he's not going to be an issue here. So he's going to get out of the way. He's going to jump back to the medium tire. Beckham, he's just a little... Charles should find a way by Beckham as soon as he can.
Holy moly, he's gained a hell of a lot on Beckham.
So those soft tires definitely working. Beckham on a very
He's
worn
got to get by.
17.
He's got to get by here at the Andretti hairpin. He can't get held up behind Beckham for too long. He's got to get by him. Half a second, but that's a bit far back, isn't it? Yeah. He'll hold station.
He moved. He moved out of the way. He moved out of the way.
Oh, okay then. All right then. I don't know if that's team orders, but okay. Charleston head, it's third place.
18
So
seconds.
then,
30 minutes
seconds.
to go.
He's got to prove a lapse of his life if he can get this first win under his belt. That would be his first win ever in the ALC, isn't it?
It would be. And 17.8, 17.7. It's coming down fast. 17.4, 17.2, 16.9. Did Chile make a mistake?
Let's see. He's on the street. He's on the right whole straightaway, so I'll have a look on a replay. I don't think he would have.
Nugatti might have to fuel again. He might have underfueled. He's just under 50% with 30 minutes to go. But
Oh, he
Chile's
did. Yeah, Chile made a mistake. Hit the sausage curb at turn 6.
15.4. In just a few corners, he's gained 2 seconds.
Chile's hit the sausage curb at turn 10. Chile's really struggling now. He can feel the pressure, even though Charles is 15 seconds back. But Chile is really trying here.
But he got the drop of the Stig in front of him. That's going to help him here. Blue flags. He's going to hope that, and this is one of the times where you're actually going to hope that Stig doesn't move out of your way, because he's going to need as much of a draft as he can if he wants to try and hold on to that position.
Chile's last lap, 141.136. What is Charles's lap time? A 136.8. That is 4 seconds a lap there.
And that's fastest lap right now, and that's with a full tank of fuel. That's going to get faster throughout the course of the race.
Oh, hit the popcorn, boys. I'm selling it. Oh, he's one wide. He's one wide at turn 2. Don't lose too much time. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here.
32.4 seconds, 32.5 to Nugatti. Actually, he's lost a bit of time to Nugatti there. So Nugatti,
because he ran wide on the exit of turn 2. He's run wide again at turn.
A little bit of track extending never hurt no one. But he's still losing a lot of time because of it. He has to reel it in check. Nugatti 18 seconds over Chile. And it's going to be close whether or not Nugatti can actually go to the end. He's going to have to fuel save, but if he fuel saves, he might fall in the clutches of Charles. On board with Charles now as he goes through the corkscrew. 28.5 minutes remain here at Laguna Seca.
Gap is still extending with Nugatti to Chile up to 18 seconds. Chile's going through the last turn. I will say what his lap time will be compared to Charles. So Chile's last lap 138.9, so he's better that by about 2 seconds.
13.4 in 2 corners. He shaved 7 tenths.
137.7. So he was quicker Chile by just over 1.2 seconds.
He could just see him going over the crest of the hill. He could see him going through the exit of the Andretti hairpin. He can see Chile.
Meanwhile, there's some other races that we keep forgetting to talk about over this tremendous battle that's going to go on here. I want to give a shout out here to Robocop. And this is the best we've seen him perform in this Mazda Championship, and he's up there in a solid 6th place.
It is. So it is a great job from him, and we do have to show out some other drivers, but it is a great job. Top 6, especially with 8 seconds till Jan's behind you. Jan doing a great job today, starting from towards the back of the grid.
We didn't qualify too.
Yeah, Tavistoll and Law still going at it back and forth. The Stag not having the best race in 10th, but everyone's doing a great job here today. And Charles, looking at the gap now, 11.8 as 11.6 going through the corkscrew.
30, just nearly coming down to 30, and he's purple. He is fastest again in sector 2, so he's going to blitz his own lap time, or fastest lap, sorry. Gap's come down less than 30 seconds now between himself to Nuggie.
But he's got 2 back markers for him, with Techno Guy and Stig. Hopefully they get out of his way.
So watch Chile's last lap, 138. Charles' lap time a 1:36.7. Fastest lap goes again to Charles.
Andretti hairpin 11.1 to Chile. Looking at Nugatti's fuel, he's just about 25%. I don't know if you use about roughly 1% a minute. I don't think you do. Nugatti might have to pit again.
Yeah, he'll have to pit. Again, he underfueled yet again. We saw him do that in Blue Moon, the first round of the championship. He did that.
25.5 minutes ago. He's just 10 seconds away from Chile. This will 100% go Charles' way as long as he keeps it on track and keeps the hammer down.
And it's a long pit lane too, isn't it? When you get into the pits, it's a long pit lane when you go into entry.
It's not uncommon to see the driver lose a second to half a second in a pit stop, just going in the entry.
No.
9.4 to Chile.
Gary's got some lap traffic ahead. They're just going to start finish landing now.
Techno guy move out of the way here. Charles on a flying lap here. Techno guy gonna have to move out of the way.
He's got to move out of the way. Charles is on a mission. He wants to get that win. Techno guy moves out of the way. Good job. Good awareness from Techno guy. Now he's got to get by the stick. Stick could actually help him here getting the slipstream.
That he could. Stick move out of the way. It was for Gotti, I believe, for Alex Rogers, one of the two. Or it was Beckham, I believe.
Here we go. He'll get into the toe. We'll get the toe of Stiggy. And he goes faster again. So not a new fastest lap from Charles. 1:36.7. 7:29, sorry, to be exact.
Sticky was out of the way. 8.3 to Chile. 24.5 minutes remain. Looking at Nugatti's fuel, he's just under 25%.
What are the chat saying? I'm interested to know what the chat's saying.
Everyone, it was Rono Thomas and Thomas TT going back and forth whether or not Charles can do it, and just we have Sid Sky in chat asking whether or not Charles pitted, and it's just everyone's just kind of in their seats watching what's going on right now. 7.4, 26 seconds to Nugatti, 23 minutes remain.
Charles pitted 6 laps ago to go onto the soft tires. That answers your question, whoever that was.
And he's used a 25% fuel since when he pitted. So in 6 laps, that was 25% fuel. When you look at what Nugatti's got to do, 23 minutes left to go, most likely will have to pit unless he's going to fuel safe heavy. But even then, he might fall into the hands of Charles. Thomas Ticci says he loves you.
Oh, I love him too. Right then, here we go. Chile comes across the start-finish line. Let's see what lap time he will produce. Oh, look in the background. If you see Chile, you saw there's Charles. So Chile's lap time 1:39.0. Charles comes across the line 1:36.6. He's getting faster and faster.
6.2 seconds to Chile now. 22, just over 20, under 23 minutes remain. Charles is going like an absolute animal. 6 seconds to the gap. 25.5 to Nugatti.
What did Nugatti did? A 1:38.6. So still Charles is 2 seconds quicker than Nugatti.
If he can be consistently 2 seconds a lap faster.
He's just got to be careful though that he doesn't run those soft tires to fudge, because that's what he's got to be doing. He's got to be careful not to use that much tire wear on those soft tires and try and save fuel as possible. Because at this rate, he might not make it with the fuel that he's going. He'll have to do some saving tires and fuel, possibly.
Back on board.
That could throw into effect too.
Back on board Charles as he goes through the course through the gap. 5.2. It is coming down. 22 minutes remaining. It's almost guaranteed that Charles will find a way by Chile. Just whether or not he can actually get past him. He can catch up to him all he wants. But getting by is a completely different story. Now through turn 10, turn 11 to go. 4.9 seconds now.
Here we go then. Chile, he's coming across the start finish line. What lap time would he do this time? It is a 1:38.962. Charles comes across the line 1:37.0. So he has lost a bit of time, but he is still gaining.
Just go with the helmet cam of Charles as he starts to close up to the gap of Chile. The car is biting. He's nailing those apexes. 4.1.
We've seen this last week at the Magyar race, you know, with Venom Q Snake when he was sitting in second place and the guy behind him was on the soft side. How worried would Chile be right now? Oh, careful, Charles. I know you're catching him, but don't push the car too much.
Nugatti has to pit. He's going to have to pit. He does not have enough fuel left in that car. So this essentially is a race for the lead here. This is a race for the lead between Chile and Charles.
It just depends how much fuel Nugatti puts in. He's still extending that gap to 20 seconds. I'm wondering if Chile is playing smart here because he's down to less than 50%, whereas Charles is about 62% left of fuel. So I wonder if Chile's playing smart here. I wonder if he's saving fuel. He has to save fuel.
He's going to have to. He's got about half a tank with 20 minutes left to go. Under 3 seconds now with 20 minutes remaining. Charles should definitely have this position. Remember last time when Chile made his pit stop, he fueled to 100% as well. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
And that was before Charles made his final stop when he fueled to 100%.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
did.
very possible Chile might have to make another pit stop.
I don't know. I really don't know. He's just gone less than 50% of fuel.
Nugatti's flashing red now. Chile's just under half. Charles is just over half. So Charles definitely revving the snot out of the thing, trying to close the gap to Chile.
Now, if I was Charles, I'd be smart here. He's done incredibly well to catch up to Chile. He's got to save fuel right now. He's got to stay behind Chile, save those tires, and save the fuel.
He's in the slipstream.
He's in the slipstream, but he has to save fuel right now. If he can go the rest of the way, he's got to save fuel. I'm taking a look at Nugatti here. He's just gone through. He's going into turn 10. I'll let you know if he's coming into the pits. As you'll still see that battle going on for set now. That is a battle. Charles has got to save. Nugatti stays out for another lap. Oh my days, this is some effort. This is from Charles. I'll tell you what.
He's going for it. He's going up the inside to turn 10. He's got the position, but Chile's fighting. Chile goes wide. He's going to try and hold on to the inside. Charles should have the grip. Cuts down, side by side. He runs him wide. He's off track, but Charles has the better traction. He gets second.
Right then, the chase is on. 23 seconds, and the Nugatti's got to be pitting this time by. This could play into the hands of Chile because he'll save fuel again.
He very well could, but 18 minutes left to go.
He'll be more than content to stick behind Charles, and then when it comes to like the last 5 laps, it'll be all at him.
The question is just Charles, does he save fuel now? Or does he build the gap? Does he save it now, or does he build the gap and then save fuel?
He's got to save fuel right now. The way that he's going away with the fuel, he's burning it so much. Like, looking at Chile, he's down to about maybe 45%. Charles is around about 55%. He could save fuel for maybe at least 2, maybe 3 laps and still be ahead of Chile. Right then, so I'm looking again at Nugatti. As you look at Charles, here we go. Let's see. Nugatti will have to pit. And indeed he will. Nugatti into the pits. This is it.
He won't change tires. He'll just be a splash of fuel.
Yeah, it's a splash of fuel. No, he's changed tires. Nugatti's changed tires.
Why change tires? That doesn't. Fuel's going. It's just fuel. It's just fuel.
Oh, fuel. Okay then. I don't know. It just seemed the mechanics they're holding the tires out.
We got them out.
I don't know.
It's just a splash and dash. It's just a splash and dash. 50% side by side. Maybe side by side across the finish line. Charles has the lead.
Look how Charles got it. Charles is the lead.
But interesting thing, Nugatti only fueled to halfway. at 59%. Charles is just at that. He has enough to make it. Chile might actually have to fuel save, but Charles, he might be good to go to the end. Unless Nugatti underfueled his car again. All Charles has to do is short shift for the rest of the race, and he's good.
He's got to change his fuel mixture to 2, and then that'll be it. That should be it. He's on the faster tyres than Nugatti in Chile. That's what he should do. He should go there, change his fuel mixture to 2, and that should be it. That's the win in the bag for him.
2 seconds. He already gapped it out to 2 seconds. So the battle for third place is once again between Nugatti and Chile. No one expected Charles, starting on the medium tires, to now be in the lead with the gap that he has. 15.5 minutes to go here. Beckham up into 4th.
Battle for 6th place. Overcopy versus Taven. Side by side across the start-finish line. Robo on a fresh set of mediums against Taven's soft tyres, so obviously Taven will go by him. Probably go around the outside.
But he goes wide and he exits the old Cunha cut.
Yeah, no, crisscrossing, it's made it work. Taven up to 6th. That's where he should be finishing, considering he's 31 seconds back of Alex. I tell you what, Alex has recovered well to finish in 5th place. No, that he's in 5th place, not to say finish in 5th place. There's still 14 minutes left to go.
Charles is still building that gap. This is going to be interesting. Who's going to come out on top? Beckham has to pit again.
Beckham's at pit. Beckham's pitting. He's got a 13-second advantage over Alex, so as much as what a bad first half of the race Alex could have, he might end up finishing 2nd place again in the points, does Alex? What was the gap between Nugatti to 17 points? So there we go. So Alex, if he holds on to that 4th place, then that's 2nd place in the bag for Alex, I think.
Beckham puts on a new set of tires.
He shouldn't go to the softs because he was already on the softs. He did get penalised for this before, and he's on the mediums. Yeah.
Let's see if we can see. It's going to be Techno, so that's not for position.
Chance also comes in.
Charles opened it up to 5 seconds already, but he's saving fuel now. He's just only now under half. Looking at Nugatti and Chile. Chile's he can't pass Nugatti here. He knows if he passes Nugatti, he's using more fuel than I think he can allow.
I tell you what, this will be quite an annoying thing though for Nugatti. For the guy to start on pole position, pretty much dominate his whole race, being in 1st position all of his time, he could end up finishing in 3rd place.
He very well could. It wouldn't be every race this championship he would have finished in 3rd, other than the penalty from last race.
Other than the, Mr. 3rd place. That's what we should call him now.
Bronze medal.
Bronze medalist Nugatti.
Chile, this is a pretty close battle though. Final spots in the podium. The gap between Charles is still opening up that gap. Fair play to Charles. We said it at the start of the stream. We didn't think starting on the soft tires or starting on the mediums was the bad idea, but he proved us wrong.
Oh, Nugatti! Little moment through turn 5. Chile all over the back now. Going into turn 6. I think they didn't hit the sausage curve fine. That's all right. Yeah, I think it was just all down the case that Charles didn't make a mistake on those medium tyres, whereas the others that started on the mediums, Jans, Law, Alex, all did. Taven as well, I think they all started on medium tyres. They all kept on making mistakes, and Charles just drove with a clean head, a fair head, and he's just gone away with it. It's still, the gap is still increasing with these two.
It is, but these two are still fighting for that position. It's not quite over yet. James behind, but the next best driver actually on track is Alex Rogers, and I don't think he's going to have to pit again, so great recovery from Alex Rogers after the start of the race.
Yeah, he's going to, I think if the points stand as it is, 4th place will get you, I'm trying to see again, 30 points. Nugatti sitting in second place gets you 42 points. The gap between Alex and Nugatti was 17. So at this rate, Alex will still hold on for that second place. But I mean, what an eventful first hour it was for Alex. All battling at the back of the pack, and he's recovered extremely well to get to be in fourth place. It's pretty much damaged. It's pretty much damaged limitations from Alex after the first hour, and he's done really well to get back up to fourth.
The closest battle on track right now is that battle for second place between Chile and Nugatti. Whether or not they'll make it to the end, it'll be close. Or actually the same. Actually, no, Nugatti's better on fuel. Chile's at 25%, but there's 11 minutes remaining, so it's going to be close for Chile. But I think he's got enough to make it to the end now. He's saved just enough. Looking up at Charles's fuel, he's good to go. He's built that gap, and now he's just short shifting. Charles is cruising to the end. But now this is the interesting battle. Minutes remaining in this 2-hour race, and it's hard to say that hasn't been fun, a good one, a fun one.
Oh no, it's been well good fun. Like that whole battle with Charles catching up to Chile, and then we weren't too sure if it was good to go, and then it's been one extraordinary. That's the word I was trying to find there.
Who do you think is going to come out on top in this battle for second place, though? We have just a little over 9.5 minutes remaining. Both drivers should be fairly close on fuel to make it to the end. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
It's going to be close because they're doing pretty much the same lap times as each other, but I think who wants it more? I think Chile probably wants the second place more, but we know what Nugatti can do. He can defend the position very well, so I really don't know, but it's going to be a tight one thing. I think Chile, if he's got his fuel mixture to 1, he should be using it right now, and then he could be a little bit faster to the get. Well, I think they'll both be on 1 because they're good to go, aren't they?
They should be good to go at this point, yeah.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, I really don't know. I think my bottom's going to be sitting back on that fence. I think, personally, I would say Chile. He looks a bit more racing than Nugatti, so I'd say Chile.
Yeah, he hasn't let Nugatti slip out of his the half a second gap. He stayed at it this entire time, but just hasn't gone for a move yet. So I would say, yeah, this probably falls into Chile's category, but it's also going to come down to how well Nugatti can defend his position. Because Nugatti's got the fuel. He definitely has the more fuel to try and use more throttle. So whether or not he can defend it using that, we'll see. But still, Charles opened up the gap to 12 seconds almost now. 8 minutes left. Rogers in fourth. For those of you that are joining us a bit late and don't know the story of Alex Rogers throughout this race, he started on the medium tires and throughout
qualified fifth.
Qualified fifth. Started on the medium tires, and throughout the course of the race, just fell backwards, making mistake after mistake after mistake on those medium tires. And just over the course of 2 hours, just clawed his way back up through the field. He got his head down, he cleared his mind, took a deep breath, and now he's up into fourth. And I don't think he's going to be losing it anytime soon.
I think at this rate he's got second place secured in the championship, providing if Charles makes a massive mistakes and Nugatti takes the lead again. But I don't see that happening with 7 minutes to go. So it looks like to me Alex will hold on for that second place. How? I do not know.
There was at one point where he was down in 9th place, but he's back up.
He was down to last.
Yeah.
He was down in last early in the races. He made a mistake at turn 6, fell all the way down to 12th, worked his way back up to 10th, then went back down to 12th. It's been an up and down race for him.
He timed his stop for the soft tires perfectly when he was closing up to a bunch of the cars in the midfield, and he just used those soft tires to pass 3 or 4 cars, and that's where he got where he is. So fair play to him, the timing that soft strategy absolutely perfect.
Oh, Nugatti runs right through the last turn. Chile could make a run on him. The gap less than 4 tenths, but it's sort of extending. So, to me, it looks like Chile is still saving fuel, and Nugatti's definitely not.
Do you think at this point for Chile, it's just hardwired into his brain to not pass until he needs to? Like, do you think he's just not realizing that I can just pass him and then blow by him and then not have an issue for the rest of the race?
I would still make an attempt to go for him. I mean, the gap is going up again. I would just go for him. He's got like a 28 seconds behind Alex. The championship's sold up for Chile. Why not? Go for it.
I would agree with you. It's just, I think at this point, it's possible he doesn't know how much fuel Nugatti has compared to his, so that's a possibility. He doesn't know his tire wear. It's a bit iffy. If I was Chile and I had all the information that we on commentary have, I'd just go for the pass, but you never know.
I would definitely go for the pass right there. I would.
Well, we have Ronald Thomas and Mr. Thomas TT in chat, so let's ask him what they would do. Would you go for the pass right now, or would you still sit behind Nugatti? So let's involve the chat a little bit and ask those two guys what they would do in this situation.
How many people are watching this?
Currently 16.
Oh, 16? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. They've all tuned up to watch this 2-hour race. That's good dedication there.
Ooh, Stiggy. What are you doing there?
Well, what did he do? Was that turn 6 again? Yeah, that was.
Definitely was turn 6. He had. Was he getting lapped by?
He was letting Beckham by. He was letting Beckham by.
Here he just tips the curb and ooh, big slide.
Gets into the kitty litter but gets going again.
Yeah, but that actually put him back into the clutches of Techno guy. So this is a battle for position between Stig and Techno. Techno guy seems to be on a charge.
Yeah, he is. Oh, and Stig looks like he's running wide through turn 10. And here goes Techno around the outside.
He's trying to go for it. This side by side. Caused him to rise his exit. And there goes Techno guy is ahead of the Stig. That's got to feel good for Techno.
Yeah, that's definitely good, but I've just noticed that the tyres for Stig, they have completely fallen off the cliff for Stiggy. Techno guy's got a much more fresh set of medium tyres than Stiggy. And again, what I said again about Stiggy before, gets a great start, works his way up to the front, and then later on in the race he falls back again.
That does seem to be a trend that he should hopefully work on come season 4. We do have Earl Thomas asking about the tire advantage. They're about the same. Actually, Chile's flashing red, so it is going to be close for Chile. He has to fuel save. I don't think he can afford to pass if he wants to finish. But Alex Rogers.
I think there's like effectively maybe 2-3 laps left. Oh, is that enough fuel to go though for Chile? Is that 3 laps worthy? I don't know.
Close Techno guy in 10th. We saw the pass getting by the Stig. Charles with a 7.
Show up. Oh, no, 17. Yeah, I was just about to say, show up on the tyres for Techno compared to Stiggy's. It's so much worse.
Okay, let's have a look. See, there's Stig, and there's Techno.
That's mediums. Yeah. So much bad as Stiggy's tyres.
Stayed a little bit too long, good Stig. 2.5 minutes remaining. Charles has run away with it in the latter stage of this race. 17 and a half, soon to be 18 seconds over Nugatti in second. There's only half a second right now ahead of Chile. I don't think Chile can afford to make the pass, as he just doesn't have enough fuel. If he does, he has to sit behind Nugatti and fuel save. Even then, I don't think he'll have enough. He might have to make a bit of a splash and dash. The rules have reversed this time around, and it's Nugatti that's fueled to the end, and Chile that's underfueled.
That's a first. But he'll still come out in third place. Alex is way too far back, though.
If anything, they actually seem to be gaining a bit of time to mean they're supposed to be fuel saving. So it's possible that Alex is also fuel saving a little bit. He's pretty low.
He's good to go. I think Alex is good to go. He's not flashing red.
Beckham should be good to go. We saw him pit. Actually, no, he might not make it. So all these drivers not quite good. Maybe go to the end. Looking at And you compare it to Charles. Charles is excellent. He's good to go. Minute and a half. So we could see some things happening here towards in the top 5 of their fuel levels.
We're coming down now to 1 minute to go. We've been racing for 1 hour and 59 minutes. And we still don't know what's going to go on for second or third or fourth or whatever.
So Charles should get 2 more laps here.
Yeah, he should, yeah. What about with Chile? He's still within a second of Nugatti. And there's not a lot of fuel left in that Mazda tank of his.
There isn't, but there's only 40 seconds left, so they might try to elongate this. Robocopy has to pit for fuel. He wasn't quite good enough to go to the end, so splash and dash for Robo.
And he might have to surrender 7th place to Law. He was only 11 seconds back. Law's just going by the last turn now. Charles is coming across the start-finish line to start the last lap. Yellow flag is being waved.
I think someone stopped.
Oh, that's Stig stopped at the start-finish line.
Well,
I'm wondering if...
That's not good.
I'll tell you what, 6 seconds to go. Nugatti and Chile are coming across the start-finish line. They might not make it. They might not get another lap in. No, they won't. So Nugatti will finish second. Chile...
And there was that yellow flag because of Stig, so even if Chile wanted to go for it, I don't think he could have.
No, he wouldn't have, no.
Did Stig run out of fuel? No, he's running now. He's running
now. He must... Probably needed to make a pit stop.
Still a yellow flag in the start-finish straight, even though he's started driving. So there's Alex Rogers crossing the line, but Nugatti will come second and Chile will come third. So Alex Rogers will take fourth, so good recovery from him. Beckham will
Alex will secure second place too in the championship.
Beckham will come across the line fifth, finally starting and finishing the final race of a championship.
Tavenstall, we didn't mention him in the second half of the race. A strong 6th place for him.
Then we have Charles TT.
I tell you what, yeah, that's it. Just show it off, flash. I tell you what, if there was ever a guy that earned a win, it's this guy right here. That stint on those soft tyres was absolutely perfection. Absolutely perfection. There's no one that could have earned that win apart from Charles. He drove magnificent in that stint. Here he comes then. A brand new winner on the ARC circuit. Flash the lights, Charles. You've earned that win. He takes the checkered flag. What a win for Charles. What an absolute drive that was.
Absolutely fantastic. Great job there from Chucky T. Tavenstall across the line 6th. There you see Law 7, Robocopy 8th after having to fill up. Jansen across the line 9th. And there is your finishing order. Charles, or Chucky TT, a win here. And our absolutely fantastic drive from him.
It's also not mentioned as well, Chile did clinch the championship as well. And Alex did clinch second place.
And with his win, how does he beat Beckham, or in the points, how does his points go for Charles?
Beckham finished 5th, didn't he? Oh no, Charles was ahead of Beckham. There were 14 points. Beckham was on 90, Beckham was on 76. So, actually Taven, he might have finished ahead of Taven. Taven finished 6th, so Taven would have got...
And I just want to point out, if you look at the time gap, as it was a timed race, Charles technically finished a lap ahead of everyone else. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's your finishing order, with 12th place going to Maddie, who disconnected earlier on in the race due to some connection issues. But that's your finishing order, ladies and gentlemen. And that was an exciting round.
I'm just trying to do calculations here. So there's 29 points between 1st to 6th. The gap between Taven to Charles was 35. So Taven would have held on to 4th place and Charles would have been about 6 points behind in 5th. So it would have been Chile, Alex, Nugatti, Taven, and Charles. That's your top 5 in point. There you go.
Unofficially, but that was a pretty good race to end out this MX5 championships, was it not?
Yes, more 2-hour races, please.
But that was it, ladies and gentlemen, for our MX5 series here from Laguna Seca. We thank you all for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the racing. If you want to support us here at ARC, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like, follow us on Twitter, join the Discord if you want to join, and check out our merch store, teespring.com/adrenaline racing community. We got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers. They're all there if you want to buy a bit of your own ARC merch. So feel free to check that out. But thank you for joining us for this race. My name has been Lateral G.
I've been myself alone.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. And don't forget to keep racing.